I'm Nick Marra, and this is After the Turns. Welcome to a post-Nashville edition of After the Turns. I guess post for me because I was at the real race and then kind of participated in yesterday's race. Participated in it. We'll talk about it in a moment. It was a complete disaster, but we've got obviously we've got Matt here and we've got Jeremy Miller, last second guest. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We are. I'm doing really well. Doing really well because he's not here today. You may notice Danson is not here, but you beat him yesterday, so I'm assuming that's why he didn't show up. Just couldn't handle the shit that we were going to be able to talk to him about. So hopefully he should be back next week, I'm sure. But I think the Marras could carry our weight this week.
Oh yeah.
Where we cannot would probably be just in the finish results. And unfortunately, Jeremy, you're going to have to hang on for a minute. Good for you, bad for us, because as you probably know at this point, we do go from worst to first. And that is me this week. So I don't want to talk about this. I've been dreading this. I think I blocked that out of my memory because of how awful yesterday was. But, for me, I was in Nashville for the last 4 days. So practice was at a minimum. And then I did fly in Monday morning and I got some work done. And I was going to do a couple of practice races, but my computer refused to give me enough space to download the updates that happened over the last week. So I got about, maybe like 10 laps of practice beforehand. And I felt pretty okay about it. Started 19th, actually, so I was pretty happy. Middle of the field, I think I had told Evan last week we were hoping for 17th. And was actually going pretty well through like the first third of the race. Was hanging around like 20th to 24th. Was with the lead pack, so it was going really well. And then I think Matt misses the pits. I guess I pulled a U, Matt. There was no tire barriers to hit, but you don't have a replay of that, do you? I'm assuming they didn't.
Are you missing the pits? No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you. I don't want to see a replay of it. But coming into the pits, I just missed the pits. It was really bad. Went through the grass, which I was running 23rd before I pitted. I ended up going a lap down and already felt stupid. And then the caution came out, so I was caught a lap down, and then it was just. Didn't really know what to do with the tire strategy. Couldn't really just could not get it to work out. It was just everything that everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Where like a couple guys would get the lucky dog, and I would be right there to get it, and then I wouldn't end up getting it. And I think it was about maybe a third of the way through the race. And Matt, I can see you're pulling up the replay now. I caused I don't know if I caused an accident, but I started an accident with Trey. We're gonna look at this.
Yeah.
If you could pause real quick, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it yet because I have not seen the replay. I was too frustrated to look at it. I'm gonna tell you what happened first. I'm gonna tell you what happened. What I thought happened first, and then we're gonna see if this was right or not. Because one, I'm sorry, Trey. No matter what I'm about to say, I'm sorry. That was obviously not my intent to hit you. It looked like you had some damage. But for me, from Jeremy, I guess we'll probably talk about that. I don't know how that would happen either, but we were racing the lucky dog, and I was like, I shouldn't be racing Trey because he's better than me. But we were racing, and I don't know. I had a little fresher tires, and before this last caution, I think this was on a restart. We were racing hard, and he had understandably thrown some blocks, so I couldn't pass him because we're racing for the lucky dog. I think Eric Stamford got the lucky dog on that caution before, and he was right in front of us. So I was nice. I try not to wreck people, and I probably could have turned him a couple times. And then here, what I thought happened. We're gonna take a look. I did make a 3 wide because I needed to get ahead of him to get the lucky dog. I think there was someone in front of him to get the lucky dog, but he kind of threw up. And what it looked like was he kind of I was there. He acted like I wasn't there. Was going to back off for the 6th time, and I didn't. And he got turned. So that's what I think happened. I will take blame for making contact. But we're going to look at it now. This is going to be our first time taking a look to see if I caused it. So let's see. That was 0% my fault.
So on the broadcast, on the broadcast they immediately, immediately said, it looked cut and dry, and then I think Evan stepped in, cut and dry, saying it was your fault, and I think Evan stepped in and kind of said, "Well, I think he kind of came down on him," and I think you're holding the bottom there the whole time, so I don't see anything that you did wrong there. Maybe you call that a racing incident, but given what you were saying on the radio, it sounded like it was coming for Trey.
I did say a couple times. I do remember telling you, Matt, a couple times I should turn him because he was blocking me, but I did not. That was not my fault.
Jeremy thought watching that.
It actually looks very similar to what happened between him and I. I felt like I was under him and he came down and turned himself. And actually, I didn't even touch him. I neck coated him. But it looks very similar. I mean, mine was entering the corner versus yours was center, but you were there and he came down. That's what I say.
It is one of those things where I didn't feel him touch my car. So, I mean, obviously, it looks like it did. I don't think that was net code. I think that was an actual touch, but I didn't.
Right.
I didn't feel anything. I don't know if I got an X. I think the worst part about it was after of course, my computer decided, after I had to uninstall and reinstall the game, and I turned the chat on after I got it downloaded, but I didn't make it so I could talk. I just could hear you guys. Yeah. So I think it kind of made it seem like on the race chat that I was hiding. I would have said exactly, this is what I would have said. I would have said, I'm sorry that I got into you, but I didn't think it was my fault. And I was trying to tell Matt, he was like, "I'll relay." And I'm like, "No, please don't do that. I'll apologize myself, but I don't want it to seem like he's talking for me." I was like, "I'll just take a look at it and then, I'll comment." I did say, "I'm sorry." I said in the chat, "I'm sorry," but I didn't claim it because I was going to take the chance. If that was my fault, I'll take the points, but I just didn't feel like it was I don't know how it's going to be called.
Yeah,
that's
I think we did something that most people in the league, including myself, probably in that moment, having quick access to that push to talk, did. You didn't shout out any blame, and you said I'll look at it first. And maybe that was on accident. People don't do that.
Yeah, I did tell Matt I want to take a look at it before I comment on it, which I know maybe seems like you want the apology right there. So I did apology. Then I spelled Mike wrong. I don't know. I felt so dumb, and when I was typing, I'm typing on the keyboard trying to type
another extra letter.
Yeah, that was close to right. I was like, I knew it was wrong when I was typing it, and but I was like, I don't know how to spell it right. It was a long day. I flew in early. Feel like a dumbass. The comments were hilarious afterward. I was like, oh my God, I tell people in my real life, I'm a recruiter, I'm not a speller. And that was that situation right there. So I hope everyone got a laugh out of that because I felt freaking stupid. But then I thought I couldn't feel any more stupid. But then I don't know if you've got the rec pulled up, Matt.
I didn't do that to you.
Okay. Well, then I think I was pretty much just over it at that point. And I wasn't on the right tire strategy then again, and I don't even remember what happened. I remember I got into the wall off of turn 4, and then it was just whoever was on the inside of me was going to wreck. I felt so bad for William. I should have just Discorded him. I tried to find him on Twitter because I swear I've seen him on Twitter a million times.
Yeah, he has. He posted an image. I think it was like a 1-word response to sum up his race, and it was a picture of him and you on the inside. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Well, then I need to find. If somebody could give me his Twitter, I was trying to. I literally tried. To find. I couldn't find him on Twitter, but I swear I've seen it.
I've seen it a lot of time.
Yeah, I felt I felt that was. We've raced actually. We've raced quite a bit. I feel like fairly hard, and I felt awful running into him. I was and of course then I couldn't apologize. I claimed it though. I did claim that one. That was my fault. That was just dumb. I was so ashamed that I just quit. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I had too much damage. It was just an embarrassment. I wanted to watch the F1 race, but I just stayed and talked to Matt. I just stayed and talked to Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely not wanting to. I told him I was getting off. I'm done. Tell me how you finish. I don't care. So it was humbling. And, I'm starting to think that hot girl summer is starting to get in the way of my performance because it's not going as well as it was a couple of weeks ago. So a little disappointing. I'm sorry, William. I'm not taking responsibility for the accident, but I am sorry for running into you, Trey. That was obviously not on purpose. If I could take it back, I wouldn't have done. I guess I would have lifted, even if I was right. I definitely would have. And let's just move on to Pocono. I'm sure that'll be a really fun one. So, okay, I'm done. That was a wild race. That's more than you usually get out there. Usually I like to wrap it up in 2 minutes, but it was.
Well, one thing I actually noticed with your race, Nick, was in the first run of the race before people figured out the track, you were actually pretty good.
I know. I was.
So like the natural talent is kind of there.
Thank you.
It's just the keeping it consistent throughout the race is where it seems that like you're falling off.
If I had gotten in the pits and like a normal human and not just gone straight through the grass for like 15 seconds and lost half a lap, I do think I had some potential. I think that really ruined everything. I was just on the back. I was on the back.
Kind of dancing for a while even.
I was, and it's funny because you're right. Jeremy, you're right. I was like in that like middle group, but I stayed with you guys the whole run. I was, again, like 20th to 24th. Next guy behind me was like 6 seconds back. Like I was actually not bad. But you make one mistake and then you're trying to recover and it just gets worse and it snowballs. And that's usually, I feel like I don't make mistakes. I get in other people's mistakes. And then, one race was just a complete disaster. I appreciate the compliment though. That's going to make me feel better about it. Cause there was some positive. And it just didn't work out. So.
There's something to work with there.
Yeah.
There definitely is.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Okay. Show's over, guys. We're done. That was fun. All right, Matt, I think we got to talk about your day a little bit. It went better than you thought it was going to go.
So I got in the car and I ran my first laps in the practice session because work has been hell. So I didn't really have any time to practice. And I think anytime, especially when you run a little bit further in the back and, maybe it's everyone, you look at a new track as an opportunity, right? Nobody's raced on it. In an ideal scenario, I would have ran some official races last week, would have felt a lot more comfortable with the car, got some laps under me. And it could have been a real opportunity to do a lot more. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time. So I'm buying the track the day of for the second week in a row. With third time, I think, in 4 races with Coda like a month ago. So not the way I want to be approaching races, but nonetheless, felt pretty comfortable. Honestly, in practice, I think right away I stepped in after Nick had maybe ran like 10 laps or so, and I was faster. And I was like, okay, maybe I've got something here. Maybe I'm okay. It wasn't necessarily fast, but I felt comfortable. So I was like, okay, maybe this is something. Get to the race, and I start 26th, which is where I told Evan I thought I was going to finish 26th last week when he asked us, and moved up through the pack. I think I got up to 19th or so. But same thing that's happened to me all year is I'm good on the short run. After like 10 or 15 laps, like the car, I just destroy the tires. And I guess I just haven't figured that out yet. Maybe I'm racing too aggressively, but excuse me. So start falling back and I look and I'm like, okay, it's lap 15 and my tires are already gone. Started falling like a rock and fell all the way to the last car that was running. And that's a very, very sad feeling when, no offense to Tom Morano there in the back with us. Love you, Tom. But him and I were having a hell of a battle for the last cars on the track. And there's just not even close. Like the speed was so far gone. Got to about lap 45 and was like, I'm going to pit because Farinaj was about 5 seconds from lapping us, which ended up working out for me in that, the caution came out, but I had taken tires early enough to only be 1 lap down and got to wave around and was on the lead lap. So all of that kind of worked itself out. But after the first run, I'm like, I just desperately slow for the last 30 laps or so, wondering what I'm doing here. And so, that next run starts and I'm not really pushing the car too hard because I'm thinking I got to save tires and I'm not as fast. So why even bother trying at this point, honestly, and thought we were going to get some more green flag runs, but we did see some cautions The pit strategy kind of turned out where I think I pitted a little bit off sequence, and I got up to 12th or so, and then kind of held it for a little bit, but fell back to about 20th before the second to last caution. I was like, okay, we'll get some fresh tires on here. I think it was with about 40 laps to go that we were pitting, possibly for the last time. And my thought is, well, if I can get a caution to split this, I'll be in good shape because I can only make the tires last, 15 to 20 laps. So I think I restarted again, like mid-pack-ish, and I was driving, got up to about 17th, and then actually I think I got up to 14th. And then I, again, about lap 15 into the run, started losing some spots and fell back to 20th again when the last caution came out. Coming in pit, some people did some strategy, and I was 22nd on the restart. And in 3 laps, I went from 22nd to 15th. I think I was going for 14th, coming off 4 with 1 to go. And I was taking it so easy because I knew there were guys with old tires that we were passing, just trying to hook the bottom. And off 4, I just was running lower than I had all day, and the car just kept turning off the turn. And I caught it, but I lost, like 8 spots going through the grass. So that was just frustrating. The year I've been having is just mistake prone. I've been, and that whole race I was at 0x until like the last lap, literally, when I went through the grass there. And 1x is solid, staying out of trouble. Finished 23rd, which if you'd have told me that at the beginning of the race when I was battling for 34th with Tom, I would have told you you're crazy. But at the end of the day, frustrating because it could have been a lot better. But I know a lot of people had that experience with the race. So I know a lot of people were frustrated maybe about where they finished. Not you, Jeremy, obviously, but I know some others were. But at the end of the day, when you don't practice much, I thought I was going to finish 26th. I finished 23rd. I should, take that as a win and walk away with it, and was more competitive. Again, had the short run speed. And so at least there was some speed there after that first run. So I'll take it as a win and move on to Pocono. But getting to good days, we should talk to you, Jeremy. I think you were running there mid-packed, around 20th. And I know when we did that pit strategy, when I had moved up to 12th, you were right in front of me, and you held on to the tires a lot better than I did, obviously. You had an up and down day, and I think you would argue that it wouldn't be hard to argue against the fact that you didn't run 5th, but you finished 5th. So I'm interested to hear how your day went.
I felt like I drove one of my worst races of the season, actually, which is, of course, ironic considering I got one of my best finishes of the season.
Yeah.
But I felt like Larry Mack with the cheese grater up against the tires. My front tires were gone every run. Like I started 12th and I drove the 7th in like 10 laps, and then I just started going backwards. But so the people that were able to pass me did it on the outside. My saving grace was I could hold it on somebody's door really well and keep my track position.
Yeah.
So I didn't fall through the field as hard as I probably would have. I held up a lot of guys and stacked up the field quite a bit, but
I saw that. Yeah, that was good.
But it just, like, I could not get the front end the point, which I figured out later in the race how to get the front end the point. It's taking 2 tires because the car drove like a dream with 35 lap old left tires and new right sides. I ran my fastest lap of the race with 2 to go with that old set of lefts, and I drove from 9th to 5th on that restart. I mean, the car, like, I wish I knew that way beforehand throughout the entire week running official.
Nobody has the balls to do 2 tires, right? That's the time to experiment, though. It's like
Louis won on it.
Yeah.
So,
I think I got on the radio with Nick, and I was like, okay. After that caution came out, I was like, 4 to go. When we get the restart, should I just stay out and make things interesting? Now, I definitely don't think that was the right call.
No, George dropped like a rock.
Yeah, I guess the thought was maybe we'll get a quick caution on the restart, kind of like Pocono with the Coke Series this week or tonight. Hope for several cautions, but I know we have a green white checker and all that, so I didn't do it. I was not going to be the person who made that mess, but I did think about tire strategy. Dylan took 2 tires. He made a gain like 6 spots on pit road. And I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't do that because that's silly. And it worked out for him, I think, as well, or would have if he didn't get bullied. Excited to see you. I know we talked before the race, we had discussion. I think it might have been last week. You had mentioned that you had like a first, second, and a third this year, and then like everything else was outside the top 20.
Pretty much, yeah.
So here's a top 5. It's like
just need to get that 4th now. We got the 5th.
You almost hit for the cycle there. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Andrew's out there. He's got a top 10 in every single race we've ran.
Yep.
So I mean,
wow.
So when you before you took those 2 tires at the end, where were you before you came out and
16th or 17th, I want to say.
Okay.
I had a really bad last run there because I cooked the fronts worse than I did the entire race. I tore the right front off of the car. Actually, I slammed the wall, which I'm notorious for. But out of 4, it got tight on me, like in a different way than it did the entire race. It was more like a rear slide than a front slide, which probably sounds stupid, but like not in a loose way, but in a tight way.
Yeah.
And I couldn't chase it down even lifting. Like I got too close to the car in front of me, and it just pulled me into the wall. But that track drove aerodynamically like a mile and a half, and mechanically like a short track. It was very odd, and that was the best way I could describe it. But it, like I mean, I had a rough race. I was mid-pack, running into people running into me.
Speaking of that, there was an accident you guys almost got into. Right, that we look at you. This is back when Nick, before he rage quit.
Oh my God, it scared the shit out of me. I forgot you were right in front of me when this happened. Let's see. Where am I?
You're right behind it.
You're coming behind it. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow.
And then he comes up, so I'm behind this too. And I think Bradley. And Bradley's like, "What the heck?" But you look at his car after that, and I didn't see any damage.
Yeah, I think he phased through him. He got kind of lucky.
Yeah. So
I got lucky and lucky.
Yeah.
Did they mention it on the broadcast? Were they like, "Wow"?
They talked about Rabel, because if you watch Rabel, there, it is absolutely insane what Chris Rabel does. So Rabel's the white car that like basically wrecks himself to miss it and somehow saves it. It's after us. Right here. That like
wow.
Yeah,
that was a nice save. Wow.
There was only one person in that wreck. Two people in that wreck.
What was going through my mind when that happened? I was like, oh shit, Sean Kalis is wrecking. He's coming down the track. I'm going to die. And then I thought, all right, I have a chance at missing him. And I look in my mirror and I'm like, that's a Marra. I'm going to die.
Yeah. He's going to run into you. Yeah, he's going to run into you. He's not stopping.
You slowed down and you missed it too.
Yeah, the thing about that situation like that is, you basically, like where we're at in the corner,
right?
You can't really slow down. You have to.
No, exactly. And it's so hard to turn the car there.
It's already hard to turn. So you're like, pretty much, how much more can you turn left? I realized that you wouldn't. I mean, I was pretty confident. I mean, you get to the point where you're like, I know if I get hit, I'm not going to see it if it happens. So then it's just like you're getting hit in the rear, you're getting hit on the side. So it's pretty much just a prey at that point. It was like a wreck avoidance from NASCAR Thunder 2002. That video game challenge. That's what those are like. It's just there's nothing like I thought for sure I was done. So. I'm sure you thought the same thing.
Well, because like when I'm back there typically, and it's nothing even against you. Like I'm not so much that I looked in my mirror. It's like when you're back there, that's where the guys who arc a brake are. So like I'm not completely sure of who's behind me. But 9 out of 10 times the guy behind you's gonna arc a brake you there. I mean, you could be running 15th and get arc a braked. So like in that situation, I'm like, and I thought I was gonna hit him. I mean, I'm shocked I got that car under him because like, especially on a concrete track, like I mean, I've watched Dover in real life my entire life. Like I go there every year. You can't turn on concrete on the exit of the corner. The car wants to go up the track so hard. It's like, I jammed my brakes and it somehow made it. I think I asked you to check the side of my car because I was like so shocked that I didn't hit him.
And to be fair, that was when I told Matt my mic didn't work. So. Yeah. That was already there. So, when I wasn't answering Trey.
And Matt did tell me that. So, and everyone else had an opportunity to hear that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, so I'm not just a coward. I would have loved to. But yeah, that was a lot. And you and Trey actually had a little bit of contact as well. Was that you thought that was do you have that replay, Matt? I don't even know what you have on replay.
The broadcast didn't really show a good angle.
They didn't? Okay. But, at the end of the day, an interesting day for you. So but a good day, a really good day. So I guess from our side of it. So Matt talked about it. You've had a lot of really strong finishes, and you've had a lot of rough days. So, I mean, what are your true expectations when you go into RSR on a weekly basis?
So it's tough. I mean, because like I can come in and run up front. Like I won Daytona, that's Daytona, but then I finished second at Homestead, and like I got a little lucky there, but I ran top 5 that whole race.
Mhm.
And Homestead's a very aero sensitive track. You have to drive the car pretty well to run up front. It honestly, like I'm very bad at correcting my bad habits. So if we go to a track where I have good habits, I run well. If we go to a track where I have bad habits, it's a struggle. Like I ran third at Bristol Dirt. Like I had that place nailed. And
Wow.
I had no front clip and no rear clip on the car, and I drove the third and finished third there. And that was, in my opinion, one of the hardest tracks we've driven all season. I mean, that car was not fun there.
That wasn't fun at all. That wasn't.
And like going back to last season, I dominated the Michigan race. I led half of the race. I had 6-lap fresher tires and everybody because I ran an overcut, and I was up to second, about to take the lead, and then they ended up wrecking in the back. But like I have that much fresher tires with the current tire model. Like I was gonna win that race. So like that's like, and that track is, I mean, it's an easier track than like, you know, a Nashville, but it's not a super speedway.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because it's very inconsistent.
Yeah. So super speedways, I think Matt and I talk every time. We know you're going to run well. Yeah. Well, how did that happen? When did you realize that? Is it just an RSR thing, or is it?
So it's not just an RSR thing. So if you go to my profile on iRacing, my iRating chart, you'll see spike, flatline, spike, flatline, spike. Those spikes are super speedway weeks.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's something about the way I drive them works. I drive very aggressively, almost too aggressively at a point, maybe sometimes. But I refuse to give up track position, and I think that's what works in my favor. And I know how to not give up track position. Like I said it.
You race people on their door.
Basically, if I'm second in line on the bottom, I do everything I can to get clear and get to the top. Because you can't win the race from second in line in the bottom. So I basically do everything in my power. I'd rather be second in line on the top. I do everything in my power to not be second in line on the bottom.
Because then you're stuck. You're in a hole. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you get someone stuck on your outside, and then like if someone above you gets turned, you're in the wreck. Like I don't like being trapped on the inside line. And I think a lot of people kind of get complacent and ride on the bottom. Yes. And that's like their biggest mistake, because then it's 10 to go and you're 13th and you have nowhere to go.
Yeah. I would agree with that. The only time I used to usually race would be on Matt's rig, and it would be like on the super speedways, like trucks or whatever. And I wasn't doing it enough, doing it like a few times a year. I was always on the bottom to be safe, but I couldn't really make any moves. And
that is where you can miss the wreck from, though. So like there's no balance.
True, but for me, like I didn't feel like I could win. So it wasn't until I got my own service where I was like, okay, so like I need to try running the outside and being more aggressive and whatever. And then, clash winner, obviously. But I
couldn't do anything with you guys that race. It was killing me.
I don't know what.
I was awful.
Happened. Yeah, you were right there. You were the one that we were worried about.
Nobody else was in the race. That's why I was right there.
They started the race. There was 30 cars that started the race.
Yeah, everyone died.
If you had more, if there was more of a pack, you probably. But but even just from an official race standpoint, you're right. You can't really do anything. Like you're not going to win if you just stay on the bottom. No. Those things work out for you. For me, actually, it's funny because I don't like being on the inside if I'm not in the lead, because I feel like I can't see in front of me. I don't know if that's a common thing, but like I feel like people are much more comfortable with it than I am. So I will always try and get the lead, just because for me, it's a lot easier to be the first car on the inside, getting pushed, than it is like, not being able to see really in front of you. And then, somebody hits the apron.
That's the other thing is most people can't push.
That's what I was going to say. That's something you haven't talked about. Is you're an excellent pusher, right?
That's the main strength that I have, is that I can jack somebody's bumper up without turning them in the corners. Even.
What do you think makes you so good at bumping?
That I'm not scared of wrecking people is the best way I can put it. With the new package, I'm a little scared of wrecking people now because the second you touch someone's bumper, they spin.
Oh, yeah.
But like going back to the older stuff, like if once you get over the fear of turning somebody, and like because most people when you're pushing, you see a little bobble in the car in front of you, you lift, and your run's dead.
Yeah.
I try to, instead of lift, offset myself on their bumper and correct her
Like
car.
push them into it. Yeah.
Right. And I've turned people doing it many times, and they get mad when it happens. But I've won more plate races than I've wrecked doing that. So I'm gonna do it until I'm not racing anymore because it's what works for me.
You sound like Ricky Stenhouse there.
But the other thing is I'm an awful blocker. If you see me when I'm in front of the race, I suck at keeping the lead.
That's good to know.
So I have to be. I win races better from second than first unless I have somebody good pushing me.
Who would you consider good? I don't think you would consider us. I know I can't push.
No, yeah, I don't even bother until like 5.
It's not even about being good at pushing. When it comes to the end of the race, it's about not being scared to. I just want somebody who's not going to lift. I don't care if you turn me. I'm more mad at you if you lift than if you turn me.
Yeah. So you get to the end, who are you hoping's behind you pushing you?
Not Andrew, because he'll pull out and pass you. I have no clue how he got that run on me. I thought I had the race 1 out of 4 at Daytona, and then all of a sudden I saw this 88 coming up on my side.
We've talked about Daytona. Should we watch it?
Yeah.
Should we watch
sure.
the last? So yeah, we got that for Jeremy. A pretty awesome win.
But to answer your question, probably Liam Sheen. I've worked with Liam a lot on the sim at Blade Tracks. He's up there.
Yeah, Liam. He was pretty good. He was doing good in the race that you won.
Yeah. No, me and Liam have a joke going against each other about who's the better plate racer. So
judging by the last couple of races, I would say you. I would say it would probably be
Liam's good. Liam is really good though.
Yeah.
So this video starts with one to go, and Liam's in the process of wrecking.
He got junked here. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But they take the white flag, so this race will be official.
I thought I couldn't win at this point because
you're sitting right where you said you didn't want to be. Yeah,
this is specifically where I don't want to be, and the guys on the top are pushing hard enough where I'm not going to get clear. But then he just moves up, and Andrew gave me a hell of a push here, and we kind of separated from the field, and then they wreck, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, you see, we built a little bit of a gap there to the other guy on the bottom. And, they're all gone. Like, literally, the entire field's gone. So, at this point, I think I have it won because he has nobody pushing him, but he's Andrew, so he knows how to get every little ounce out of the car. So, he got a better run, and I doored him. I wasn't trying to, hit him as hard as I did, if I'm being honest. I was just trying, to hold my car against his to stop his momentum. But it's iRacing, so we bounced off of each other and then wrecked. But I won on my roof. So
can we watch? Listen to this call. We talked about this previously. Getting that call
side by side.
Oh yeah, the side by side. Now I want to hear the side by side. I didn't get it while it was happening.
Side by side, and across the line, Jeremy Miller.
I love the moan.
Yeah.
How many times have you rewatched that?
I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, I would rewatch it all the time.
I've rewatched it quite a bit.
You should make it your ringtone.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest win in my sim career. I know it's a league race, but I mean, RSR is probably one of the biggest leagues on the sim.
We talked about it last week with Evan. This is a Coke series.
Right.
The talent's almost there. The broadcast quality is. We see the excitement from you. I love it. I love seeing the emotion here.
I'm in my AVR shirt there too. True Alex Bowman fan. Always wearing Alex Bowman stuff. Yeah. But which was awesome that he won at Dover when I was there.
That's right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
But even cooler than that, I got to tell this story from Dover. So I brought my girlfriend to it. It was her first ever race. And the Saturday night before the race, we're eating at this Mexican restaurant not too far from the track. I don't know if either one of you have heard the story yet, but the table next to us, I recognized the guy sitting there. And it takes me a second to process who it is. And then he's watching a dirt race on his phone. And it was Ricky Stenhouse.
Wow.
Sitting at the table next to us. And I was sitting there fangirling, not knowing what to say. And I ended up just saying hi. Right.
Back to back or what?
Side to side. So
really?
He was sitting next to me basically.
Oh my god!
But I ended up saying hi. I didn't really want to bother him, so that was kind of it. And then we just didn't talk the rest of the night. I didn't want to be that person that was really up in his face,
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting up and leaving the table at one point. I didn't know what he was doing, and then he came back and like wished us a good night and left. And I wish him good luck tomorrow in the Cup race, which he ran really well and then got a penalty or something, or no, a loose wheel. He had a loose wheel.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And he ended up actually paying for our meals. Is
Wow,
what he was doing. It
wow.
was really cool. Yeah, and like I
Did you get
was
the good
shocked.
stuff? Did you get the good stuff then?
No, I
Well, you
just
probably
it
don't
was-
know until afterwards, right?
Yeah.
but like it was. I was shocked. I ended up tweeting about it. He saw it and replied. But
Really? No.
yeah,
Wow.
like the best part about it was that, like the biggest thing with NASCAR is you need to cheer for someone to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it gave
I
my
agree with that.
girlfriend a driver to cheer for before she'd ever seen a race.
Mhm.
And that really worked out. Now we're going to Pocono this weekend. So
Oh, you are nice.
The both races, I assume.
yep, both races. I'm actually sitting in row 1 on Saturday, which I've never done before. Which, like, I know you want to sit higher for NASCAR, like, but I've always wanted to experience a race as close as I can. So
Yeah.
Saturday I'm sitting row 1, and then Sunday I'm sitting as high up as I can. So
Really?
Well, there you go. Do a little bit. I know, Nick, usually
Yeah.
when you and I go to races, I'm sure you by yourself too. If you have the ability, you go sit somewhere for practice and then you move around for qualifying and get some different aspects. So given that you have 2 races, why do the same thing?
I've actually never seen a truck race, so this will be my first truck race, which is pretty
wow.
crazy.
Oh, wow.
But,
Well, Kyle Busch is in it, so you saw
yeah.
him win already.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I've seen IndyCar race at Pocono, which actually was the one Wilson died at, which
Oh,
was
really?
pretty sad. I actually got his autograph right before that race started.
Oh my God.
So,
Wow.
that's the only autograph I got too.
Wow. I went to Pocono once. It's a nice place. It's a pretty nice place.
It's a nice facility. I like
Yeah,
it.
it is pretty nice.
You could sneak in a sniper rifle if you wanted to. The security's awful.
It is really
A nice track.
It's a low budget. It's definitely got a non NASCAR type seat, if there ever was one. Matt, to answer your question, I did go when I went to Nashville this weekend. I think our seats were like row 10, and I think we sat center grandstands row like 60. So
I saw the seats on Snapchat. I was like, nice. That's like perfect.
yeah. Those were not our seats. But don't tell anyone. So they, but yeah, no.
How was that facility?
It was, the traffic was not good. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I've read about that on Twitter.
It was kind of like a Kentucky.
Worse, it sounded like than Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't think my friend's listening, who normally does, but he did not wake. We were supposed to leave at 10:30, and we didn't leave till like 11:45. So he was sleeping at 10:30. So that was not our fault. We were going to go there pregame early, and the traffic was, it was, oh my gosh. We probably were an hour and a half to go like a mile. I thought we were going to we barely made the start of the race. And the only reason we did is because I didn't realize this, but they delayed the start to let me get in. And I saw that because I hadn't been on Twitter. I hadn't watched any of the other races until yesterday. Or finished the Formula 1 race this morning. So I wasn't on any Twitter for days. And then I just saw that today, and I was like, that makes sense, because I went out at 2:30 for the national anthem, and they were still doing driver intros. I was like, this is so crazy. But yeah, it was good. It's like at Kentucky. I feel like they did a lot of things right. You would never know that facility was not used for 10 years. Like, it was a really nice one.
Right.
But you could tell that they had no plan for a busy crowd, like, to get in. They clearly
that like on TV, it looked like a 2007 like atmosphere. Like,
yes,
that place was packed. The excitement was huge. Like, I wish I was there, because like the last time I've been to a race that was like that, like much of a buildup, was like when I went to Dover in like 2007, 2008. But like, I mean, Dover's removed like 40,000 seats since then.
Well, even Nashville only had like 40,000 seats, right?
Right, but
so
that kind of helped.
It gives you the atmosphere,
visuals, but like still, like it was like for a non-Daytona 500, a non-Crown Jewel, the amount of celebrities, the amount of hype, like the crowd was so loud, like it just
I noticed that. I mean,
it felt like heyday, basically.
Yeah,
NASCAR. Like
I agree. I think it would have been. I was talking to Matt a little bit about it, but like if Kyle Larson wasn't Kyle Larson doing Kyle Larson things, that was actually a really good like race for a kind of a shitty track. So, but no one got the battle for the lead. If he wasn't there, there would have been a ton of battle for the lead. I think it would have. I don't know what people thought about it. I mean, I think it looked like it was no matter what, it was better than expected.
It was a pretty good race.
It was a pretty good race.
I thought, but you don't pay attention for the battle of the lead. There's plenty of other things going on. There's some strategy at the end that was super interesting. Some new.
It also helped that it was NBC because Fox just shows the leader for 300 laps versus NBC actually shows the battles.
I did notice they showed some battles in like the mid-teens and even.
I like NBC's
20s.
coverage a lot more, but I love Mike Joy. Like I hate the people that give Mike Joy crap, but like I'll take Mike Joy over Rick Allen.
If you don't like Mike Joy, like something's wrong with you.
Yeah, but Fox's from a production standpoint, like the directing and the camera work, it's gone so downhill. And they cut to commercials at the dumbest times too, compared to NBC.
So Nick's a big Jeff fan, I'm sure, if you've listened to the show. So Nick, what are your thoughts on the Fox broadcast?
I really like the broadcast team. But I agree with what Jeremy's saying. They do they've cut off they used to be so like 3 years ago into the only showing onboard cameras, and they wouldn't show anything but onboards. But they've gotten better at that, but they were strong at the beginning of the year and they got super lazy really fast, I felt like. And then they just started missing everything that was happening. So I think NBC might be better from a coverage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I like Jeff and Clint, so I'm a little biased.
I like the booth. The booth is good.
Yeah,
it's just
the booth is good. The rest of it is not
TV
bad. The rest
work itself. It almost feels like Fox is using all of our TV production interns for NASCAR coverage instead of actual professionals.
Yeah, I think our production team is probably a little better than that. we haven't had any issues so far, so except for the one.
It's the Daytona 500 this year. So I live in the Philadelphia sports market, right? The Daytona 500 on Fox in the Philadelphia sports market, there was like a 15-minute period where the commentary audio was gone and the commercial audio was gone too. The commercial music was playing, but any words were not. And when the race came back, it was literally just race sounds. Like, how does that happen? And it's specifically only to one market and not the entire broadcast.
I was gonna say that was not the case here in Chicago. That's
right.
Well, I do want to say we should wrap up Nashville, I guess, quickly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the race, I think Brandon Bowie ended up winning the race on 2 tires, right? Was that the call that he had?
Yeah. Great call.
It was a great call. But yeah, I saw Trudell almost got him at the end. I guess it would have been interesting to see what happened if you guys took a look on that last restart. Sean Casto he had a bad restart and held up the 88, which probably gave the win.
We saw him get nailed by Bradley Burke in that replay earlier. Like, how's he even in a position to be in 7th place there? In front of him.
I mean, he wrecked Andrew, really. I mean, he destroyed the front of Andrew's car.
Yeah, it was. I didn't see the damage, but it did look like there was.
Yeah.
It was a pretty hard hit, and it was enough. I think Andrew still finished top 5.
I got really lucky, actually. I probably would have been in that. No, he didn't, because I finished 5th and he was behind me.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I got really lucky, so I probably would have been in that wreck because I was right behind Andrew. But my screen froze right as we came to the restart, so I was late to get on the gas. But that gave me enough of a gap to miss that.
Wow. Does anybody hit you from behind?
No.
Okay. Wow. That's the luck. You hate when that happens. It happened to me a couple times yesterday.
It happened 4 times during that race. It never happens to me. I got to figure out what was going on.
Whoever was leading, I felt like was really taking slow starts, and it was bunching up everyone in the back.
Oh.
What can we talk about that? Because Dylan mentioned it. I saw after I quit. I know he had mentioned it every single restart, and somebody crashed on one of the restarts. They one of the last ones literally spun around on the backstretch. How did that? Do we know how that happened? Was it anyone in particular? Was it just?
It was everyone. Maybe something to do with the track because it's a concrete surface, and Evan was even basically yelling at us to clean up the restarts. And in the chat, clean up the restart. And the single file one was the worst. Yeah. I don't know where you guys were in the field with that.
I slammed on the brakes.
Stopped. Twice, I got lucky. The people in front of me turned left when they stopped, so I could drive around them on the outside. But they literally stopped on that restart, and I have no clue why. It was really rough. I mean, I almost got ran over twice on restarts. I got lucky and it didn't happen, but it was not fun.
Middle back. I was in the back. Yeah. So, I mean, I was once you get to the farther back you got, I think the worst.
Well, I think generally the longer you take to start the restart, the more bunched up the field gets because people start creeping on the throttle and then everybody's, timing and then they have to stop. And so generally, if you want cleaner starts, if you're the leader, you have to start earlier. Now, that's not to say there's an advantage to holding and letting people jump and slow down, right? So as the leader, I'm not saying, they've earned that right. But at the same time, it did cause an accordion effect through the field.
Well, and that's where the massive checkup happens is like everybody's trying to time it. So people hit their gas and then it's like, oh crap, the leader isn't going. So then they hit their brakes. And always for somebody that's hitting their brakes right as the leader goes, that's where the massive checkup is because that person is stopping as everybody else is going. And that's where you get your wrecks.
Which was there any caution? Were there any crashes right on the restart?
Well, Casto on the final restart spun himself.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. He went to the grass.
But then, I know my teammate Jaron Winemaster. He got massive damage on one of the restarts. He got like 25 seconds. Like they didn't wreck, but they all collided. Like
interesting. Yeah, I know. I guess I'm trying to remember. I was pretty much done by the first caution, but I did the 40 lap NASCAR drivers video thing a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if anyone else, Jeremy, I don't think you were in it.
I wanted to, but I couldn't.
The track the setup was completely different. It felt so much different than it did. It was a lot tighter. Nobody could get restarted. Everybody spun their tires on the initial start, and then they did it again after with new tires. It didn't feel like that was the case on the initial start. So I'm wondering if they must have made some changes to the setup and made it a little more drivable. But like in turn 3 and 4, it was just so tight. And if you didn't hit the bottom right, it shot you like right up to the wall. It was, which I feel like maybe it did anyway, but it felt a lot more drivable in the race. And restarts seemed a little better, but I don't think that had anything to do with why everybody was checking up. But that was a little extreme. So I'm surprised. People weren't more mad about it. They were, but nobody was super upset about it. I guess afterward on the Discord. So. So I don't know, but
about the restarts, yeah. Maybe not enough to blow over that. I think the accidents that were caused were, isolated. I think everybody seemed to hold it together. Nobody had like major damage except for maybe Jaron got that 25 seconds. I know I didn't get hit. Usually you're like, oh, I'm gonna get hit in the front or in the back, and I think I got some 0X's maybe on some of those restarts, but everybody did a good job at not wrecking each other despite the fact that the whole field was bunched up on all those restarts.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy racing. But yeah, we congratulate Brandon. He's just on our show. We've got a lot of winners on recently. So obviously we've got Danson on after his wins. We've had Brandon on after his win. We've got Dylan on, Sean on. Jeremy, you had a really nice run.
Yep.
We might be some pretty good luck, honestly, except for Matt and I.
So Steve Burton's going to win next week, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch. He actually had a good run, so give him credit.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you don't text and drive in the middle of a race.
How did Steve do? How did he do?
I don't think he finished incredibly, but he did run good. Like
he passed me on that long run where I dropped from I think like 14th to 20th right before
I gotta pull it up now.
So he was top 20. Do you have the results, Jeremy? Like
I'm pulling them up right now.
Are they posted?
No, but you can get them on iRacing in the league page.
Oh, that's right. I should have checked there. Okay, my bad.
So let's see. Oh God, Eberhard finished 33rd.
Yeah,
he is in trouble.
I might pass him in points.
Really,
I think I did actually somehow.
Let's see. Where is Steve? 19th.
Yeah, solid run. I mean, that would have been my second best finish of the year. So,
really,
I need to reevaluate myself. Yeah, it's been a long year, Nick.
It's been a long year for me.
Where's Matt Danson here? I'm struggling to find him. Oh, there he is.
He was like 16th, 15th, yeah. So I was ahead of him, and then I lose it off 4 with 1 to go, and I'm like, watch him pass me by, and I'm like, no.
Did you see him pass it? He already had it.
I was ahead of him, and then I lost it and went through the grass, and I saw him pass me, while I was in the grass recovering with 1 to go. Yeah, that was frustrating. Just that I ran well. So no, I was just gonna say I ran well. So I had some speed at the end. So I'll pat myself on the back, take the moral victory, and not think about the actual result.
Yeah. he wasn't going to. He was probably. I was gonna say he'd be really happy. He was probably really happy when he saw you go through the grass and Danson was passing you. But I'm pretty sure he was probably so frustrated he didn't even care at that point.
There was a time when he was on older tires. We'll talk to him about this hopefully next week when he's back. That he was dropping through the field because he's got up in the front because of strategy. And I was trying to pass him, and he made it. He does all this talk about how, oh, you're running mid-pack. The mid-pack drivers race harder for position than up front, a little give and take. And he raced me really hard for 15th place. So I was just like, I came from a second back and I have fresher tires. Just let me go, man. He was probably just in just shock that I was there to pass him up. But I want to talk to him about that next week because he raced me really rough. I had some words on the radio. I think Nick was listening. So, but he didn't do anything wrong. I thought, friends on the show, hey, come on, man, it'd be cool. So, Danson raced me. Just give me a spot next time. It's hard enough to be there.
So, Jeremy, do you have the top 10?
Yeah. So something else I'm looking at here. Only 9 people 0x yesterday.
I was 0x until the last turn. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty small amount of 0x's for that kind of track.
Well, you said it raced like a short track. I couldn't agree more.
Well, mechanically, but it was weird. But anyway, so the top 10 was Bowie, Trudell, Silver, Jones, me, Lariah, Andrew, Adam de Blasio, McBride, and then Stanford.
Okay.
You
were racing Stanford for a lap at some point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rhett was in 34th. He got the lucky dog.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So Rhett missed the start or something, or he missed I think he missed. He either missed the start or he missed pit road, and he went a lap down during that green flag cycle. But it wasn't because of speed. He actually did have some speed.
That hack Sam Nieto finished 11th. So.
Ooh. That's the worst.
Wow, he had so much damage. Oh my God. I saw him pass. So during that last run where I was dropping like a rock, I saw him pass me and I'm like, oh, he was running up front earlier. I thought he was fast. And then I look at his rear end and it's like 2 or 3 cars that passed me are just demolished in the back end. And I'm like, wow, I'm really bad on old tires.
Yeah, Sam had no.
You were fast yesterday. You took a top 5 car and you finished 11th. So that is talent. Yeah,
he passed me actually when he had that damage and I didn't have damage. So I really can't talk.
Yeah, Sam, you've had speed. You should be very encouraged. You've been very fast the last few weeks. So
9 points
there. It's
9 races.
Do you have the points updated as well?
No, points are not updated.
Okay.
Looking at it from a simple perspective, I'm 20th. I'll probably move up to 15th, 14th. Hopefully. Andrew's obviously going to keep the points lead. I think Casto's going to drop out a second, which I'm surprised to see he is second, honestly.
He had a really, really strong start to the year. And honestly, I think he's been on the show with us. He's had a string of bad finishes.
So I ran an NIS with him on Sunday night, and I was quite faster than him. And we went into the race last night, and he was in an entire different league than me in pace. I don't understand what happened in that 24-hour period. That he I don't know.
Well, he's got to get some teammates too to learn from. Maybe that's what it is.
That's Nick and I going into every race session. How are they so much faster?
Yeah.
Where's that time? I think I brought it up specifically at one point on the radio to Nick. It's man, they're really getting off 4, and I just cannot get in the gas off 4. I struggled last night, and it's you're following people all night, so you're picking up things right on how people are racing the track and all that. But man, it just I could not understand it. So glad
that's half the fun about doing the official races. I think for me, Matt, when I was getting more practice during the week was either leading or being somewhere in the pack, but learning from other people. This is what they're doing. How are they getting off? Like you said, how are they getting off 4? I was 40 laps into the race. I thought the same thing. But, if I had gotten 3 or 4 practice races, I would have learned. I would have seen that, 6 days before the race and thought about how to make that work. And it's didn't show, but I felt like I learned a couple things even during. But yeah, I think that's like half the fun of this whole thing is being able to see what other people are doing and then adjust and make it work for you or try.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you're doing that, during the race, and like Jeremy and Sean are doing NIS, I mean, we're a step behind.
I was just going to say, it's a little too late to start learning during the race. Unfortunately, we've had to take that approach the last couple of weeks. I was going to ask you, Jeremy, we've asked a couple of our other guests, how do you practice? How do you get better? How do you prepare for every race?
I don't.
Okay.
Honest question.
Yeah.
So like I ran NIS this week because it was a new track and I just felt like racing it and trying it. But like if you go to my account, I have Bristol dirt races in my last 10 still. So like I don't race official that much. I race leagues I used to race a league on Saturdays, but I no longer run in. I actually made my commentary debut Saturday night for that league. That was fun.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, over on Sim TV with Kyle Heyer, which I think he's worked with Evan before. I think Evan and Kyle are probably the two best at like sim work like out there. Like they're both like absolute professionals. Like the Sim TV broadcasts are phenomenal. They're going away though because Kyle's moving forward with Grid Life Touring, which is based out of Chicago. So he actually lives in Chicago right now.
Oh wow.
And if Sim TV broadcasting is really, really cool. It was awesome to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I did Daytona because plate racing. One thing I know what I'm talking about. But
how did that go? What was it compared to your expectations?
It was fun. I felt like I started off a little shaky, which is probably to be expected. But I feel like maybe halfway through it became like I wouldn't say natural, but like it didn't feel awkward. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best commentator on the planet, but like. Because that's just absolutely not true. But I felt like I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do at it. But like I could never call play-by-play like an Evan does. I could never. But like color commentary, I felt like I did okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to do the color commentary.
Yeah.
Like the play-by-play. I think that would be fun. I think they both would be so much fun. I mean,
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
I'd get tongue-tied and like absolutely butcher everything.
Yeah, I think we brought up the idea last week to Evan having a drivers only broadcast.
Right, I heard that. Yeah.
Nick, I think you would be the play-by-play. You'd have to be the lead, I think, and then we'd have a couple color commentators in there. I think you'd be good at it, but I'm going to continue to bug you, Evan. Well, I won't continue to bug you, but I will check with you closer to the IROC race to see if that's something we can make happen.
So is Nick still inviting himself to Evans?
I may see them out when I go out there. Yeah. I don't know if I'm invited to Evans.
I mean, it's an absolute shame. If one of the best drivers in the series missed a race, it'd be a shame. So I think the least Evan could do is let you race.
I think they'd have to cancel. I mean, who's going to be scared middle of the pack that I'm in the pack? Like,
when that big accident happens and they have to call out that driver, it has to be Nick Marra.
Yeah.
You guys invited Evan on the show. He can invite you to race in his house. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally the same thing.
We virtually brought him into our home, so he can physically bring you into him.
I'm gonna be the in-race, in-person commentator. I'll do both at the same time.
Kick Dylan out. We don't want to look at Dylan's messy room.
Exactly. We can. Exactly. We just look at his studio apartment or his. He's
gonna move a microwave into the room though, because there has to be a microwave behind you.
I think I'll bring one. I'll go buy a red one. So it's just because I need it with me. It's my safe haven, so I know I'm in a safe place. But it's funny because as much as I joke about that, like Vegas scares me as a racetrack to race. I did not going into that race. I was very I don't think I'm gonna run well. But 30th place points are 30th place points. So I would like to be in it, and I'm not doing it from a hotel room. I'm not going to do it from a hotel.
Oh, it's actually the week we're running Vegas?
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, it's not Vegas. Actually, I think it is.
Do you know what date?
Texas. It'll be October 25th would be the race, or that
Kansas.
Kansas. I ran well in Kansas. That was the 16th. That was the 15th. That would have been fun. Yep. Now I have to go.
Yep.
Yeah, now I have to go.
Hopefully Evan listens at some point, and
or you can talk to Tom. I know you talked to Tom a little bit last week too. So Tom was there.
Tom's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got 4 more months. If I bring it up every week, then he's gonna have to say yes, or I'll just show up, and they won't be able to turn me away. I think so.
Just climb in through the window.
Puppy dog face. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got to do I feel like I probably have to somehow win a race or something to make it more legitimate. Because, like, can you imagine, like, if I was in the playoffs or something?
Oh, you're saying for the chase?
Yeah.
I'll push you to win at Daytona.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you could, then they would have to, because I mean I'd probably be out at that point, but I'd still need the points for the playoffs. Yeah.
No. So what we'll do is we'll get you into the playoffs, and then we'll wreck all the playoff contenders every week to keep pushing you through. So that way Evan has to let you come in and race.
Exactly. Because I'm not bringing a wheel and I'm not bringing pedals on a plane. I'm not gonna set it up at the Bellagio or wherever we're staying. I feel like the optics. I mean that would be a great, like, like Jesse Iwuji.
The fan boats.
He's milking that Navy thing in the fan boat every time.
They just happen to have an entire sim ring on a Navy base.
Yeah, exactly.
So, total coincidence, and then he gets fan boat. I mean,
I'm gonna buy the Bellagio. I'm gonna request the Bellagio room have the one with the sim ring in it, like faced out like the window or something. So we have like a really great
view. On the balcony.
Outside.
SimSeats is our sponsor for the league, right? Maybe SimSeats could hook you up with a rig while you're in Vegas on the balcony at the Bellagio.
And as much as we're joking, like as hungover as I will be, because I will be like up at like 10 a.m. that morning from the night before, I already know it. Like I definitely would. I would do that. That I would do. I would suck it up.
Las Vegas has some sims at the track, possibly. Like, I mean, they got a lot of races.
That's where the festival is. So
it is.
Yeah, they are taking it out. Like they're not going to have it there, I don't think. They probably take all the racing stuff on. You'll never know it's a racetrack. So maybe not that, but maybe they got like if they've got slots and they got everything down below, I'm sure they got something like a sim rig.
And maybe you can like win a big poker tournament or something. Just buy a house down there and get a sim rig set up.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah, you'll have to go all in on black. So
I'll just spend I'll put my whole life savings on black to try and get a sim rig that weekend, delivered and installed in the hotel room for that race, and then get wrecked out on the first lap.
No, just buy everything
up on a restart. That's exactly
Amazon has a fantastic return policy. Just get everything shipped from Amazon to your hotel and then return it after you're done with it. There you go.
Zero money used. Yeah, who's gonna set it up? I'm not setting it up. My friends aren't setting it up. I'll get somebody on Craigslist.
We'll contract Evan. We'll
Angie's
instead of going to Evans, he'll come out to the hotel and set up the rig for you.
I'm actually kind of really liking that idea. If I could do that, I would stream myself for that one race with the view, and then they'd have to show me. They wouldn't have a choice. So
the whole
broadcast would just be like picture in picture the whole time, right?
It'd be back to the Fox broadcast. It'd be the in-car of the entire time with the balcony out.
I would do well. I mean, I feel like and actually, I feel like Jeremy. I don't. Maybe you must have known the guy to do the broadcast, but I feel like I would do like I don't know if I would do the like in person commentary like when I'm driving. I feel like that would be too difficult, but.
Well, I mean, look at Dylan. It's a prime example of what
it's hard. I don't. It's honestly, he does better than he probably should, considering how distracted he is. Yeah, I could only imagine. There's times where I'm like, Matt, stop talking. Like nobody talk. Like I can't concentrate.
That's a big issue. I talk a lot while I race to my friends in Discord. I've been told to shut up many times. So like on top of like I distract very easily.
Yeah.
Like I have a bunny that sits here right when I race. So I end up looking over at him during races. I have two monitors. I'll look over at my second monitor, not because something popped up, just because I'm like, oh yeah, I have a second monitor. Let me look at it. Yeah. And, I get very easily distracted. So on top of the fact that I really don't race, it's pretty astounding that I run as well as I do sometimes.
Yeah, I'm shocked to hear that you're a good restrictor play racer with only one monitor. I feel like you need to be able to see the sides. Like, isn't that? I did some races.
I mean, I have look left and look right. The buttons.
So you get used to that?
I actually another bad habit is when I get really bored in a race. When I go in corners, I'll challenge myself to look out my side window and try to drive the car.
You're texting and driving.
No, I'm looking out the window and driving. I mean, it's a little like so. Honestly,
on Twitch, so it's okay. So
I should not run as well as I do at all because I don't take it seriously enough. Like if I took the sim seriously, I think I could be much better because I run better than people that take it seriously.
So why not take it seriously?
I just don't want to. I took iRacing seriously once upon a time. And I have a really good friend that takes iRacing seriously, Connor Horn, if you know his name.
Yeah.
He runs Road the Pro. I talked to Matt
You
about him.
spot with him, yeah. You spot for him.
I spot him for Road the Pro. He made top 70. And the stress for one of like that is not something I really want. And the iRacing community is so toxic. Like, it is awful. Like, I know some people on the outskirts of the community. Like, I'm not in it, but like I know people. And the amount of like behind your back talking about people and I hate this guy, I hate this team hates this team, like for a video game is really bad because the iRacing community is different than most games because everybody's under their real name, so there's no way to hide because you don't have a screen name. So everybody knows everybody personally, basically. And they all hate each other because so many people race like jackasses. And they have no regard for others. It's not worth the headache for me because I don't think I'm good enough to like go pro. Like, no way I am. So like, why bother investing the time that those guys do to not reap the rewards that they do and deal with the toxicity that is iRacing's community?
That's interesting. It's funny because I was having a conversation with one of my friends who was asking me about it. It was kind of like, because I think I had said, I hadn't really put in the time. I've been traveling a lot recently. Like, I wish I was doing a little more. He was like, you really should like focus on it more.
I always say I want to because like there's the competitive drive is there. Like, I want to be good.
Yeah.
But it
requires time to be good, time that maybe you want to do other things. So like I feel the same way. I strap in, literally have a seatbelt on my rig. I literally strap in on Monday nights and I think, man, I really want to run well. Nick, now that you got that win at the Clash, I'm super competitive. I want to be better than you. That's my bar every week, right? There's inside of me, there's a little competition to be the best out of the two of us. And you also want to run well. You don't want to run last like I was that first run, literally last on the track, right? I'm a very competitive person too. I'm very high energy, right? So when I'm not running well, I'm very down. When I'm running well, I'm very high. And so, so I get in that car. I wish I would have practiced all week, but all week.
Don't get me wrong. I drive my ass off.
Yeah.
And I sweat. Like I'm sweating after a race. Like I drive as hard as I
can.
Matt's
heart rate monitor. I mean, he basically sheds like 10 pounds of water a race. So
we got Road America coming up in 2 weeks too. So
God, the road courses are the worst. My room. I have an Alienware computer that does not disperse heat the best, so it gets like 75, 76 degrees in here. So that's pretty warm.
Yeah.
And that on top of like racing and like the road races are awful. Like honestly, like I'm not a good road racer, but like I'm decent at it. But by the end of the race, I'm like worn out and I'm fading. Like I actually get tired with road races.
I think if I ever picked it up, I could be really good at it. I don't know. Like if somebody sat down with me for like 3 days and was like, we're not leaving this seat until we figure it out. I actually think I would be really good. I think I don't know.
The best advice I can give you for road racing and like, so it's different than what Danson would tell you because Danson's a really good road racer. But as somebody who's not a good road racer but can get a little bit out of the car because of this, drive slower.
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid.
Oh, I drive slow.
But like, honestly, actively try to drive slower and you will go faster at road courses.
You know what a great way to drive slower is? Start up the road chain, right? The license chain. You're getting the Mazdas and you'll go really slow. And honestly, like if you want to get good at road racing, I'm not good at road racing, but I'm like, around 20th speed wise, right? So, probably better than I am comparatively in the league than ovals. I went from rookie class to B class in road and trying to drive a Daytona prototype, it feels like it's going 20 times faster.
Like that velocity
very different than a stock car, but
the driving slow thing is for cars that like a stock car that's not meant to road race.
Yeah, I just think you need to get comfortable with road racing in general before you can get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like Jeremy, you said you finished third at Bristol Dirt. Dirt racing is another thing, right? Like
I like dirt racing. I do a little bit of dirt racing on the sim. Like I
love dirt racing. Yeah,
it's a discipline that I feel I'm decent at. I'm not great. Like my dirt I rating sucks, but that's partially because like I run D-class sprint cars because I don't want to run long dirt races. Like I just run them for fun. And in D-class sprint car races, people will slide job you from a tire straightaway back and just wreck
Oh
you.
yeah.
So my I rating's awful, but like I like dirt racing, it's fun. But like
Yeah.
I can't drive the truck on dirt. Like I can't run Eldora in the truck. I haven't tried Knoxville yet. I will eventually. But the Cup car at Bristol, I was good because the
Yeah.
track ended up driving so much different than normal dirt. Like you were basically trying to keep the car straight instead of drifting it on the bottom of the corners. And I had that figured out. Like the throttle inputs, like I figured it out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think I don't know if I have a really good discipline, but I mean, I guess just to like finish that point, yeah, I know it takes a little more effort. Like if it wasn't for the like league, I would be completely okay. You know, with what I do now, I like doing. I want to be a little better in the league, but I feel like on ovals and like the official races, I hover between top of second split, bottom of first split. And like when I'm in the second split, I have a chance to win most of the races. So like that's like the fun part. I don't. We're not going to win at these, but yeah, I wish like just a little bit better. But it just takes too much, and it's honestly it's like there's too much time that would need to go into it on a weekly basis that I don't have the time for right now. So it's like not going to happen. Unfortunately,
I actually talked to Matt specifically about that before we started. That like you guys like where you run makes you look a lot worse than you actually are.
Yes.
Because the talent in RSR is insane right now.
Yes.
It is so stacked. I mean, I'm 20 of them points right now. And 2 years ago here, I pointed my ways into the playoffs easily. Like it wasn't even close. And like this year, I probably wouldn't make the playoffs on points if I didn't have the win. But it's RSR right now. I've never seen a league like this. Like like there's leagues that have higher talent pools that are like a bunch of the pros running. Like I'm trying to think what it's called. I know there's one league that runs the old stock car, the 2011 like car that like is really big. Like they have a lot of really good drivers in it. But like for like your typical iRacing league, RSR's talent pool is insane right now.
And so, how long have you been in RSR?
This is my 3rd season. I ran part-time last year, but I ran full-time in 2019. I'm running full-time this year.
Okay. How did 19? So you said you pointed your way in pretty easily.
Yeah, I didn't win a race, but I pointed in. I can pull up the standings. But like I ran with a few friends that season. Connor was one of them. He won a few races. I had a couple of races I could have won. I almost won the All-Star race that year.
Wow.
I almost won Michigan. Connor beat me at Michigan, actually, ironically. But like, so let's go to standings. So at the end of the season, I finished 12th in points. I had 11 top 10s, so not the best. But I'm also better now than I was then.
Yeah.
And I have experience with RSR going further back. They used to have a league called Midnight Thunder a long time back, where it was trucks and Xfinity cars, different points in time. It ran on Friday nights at midnight. That was like when I was first on iRacing in 2016. I did that. It was fun. And then they had a K&N series that ran that I did a race once or twice there. One of them I did that was broadcasted. Parker Kligerman was in and a few other names. Like Evan would know about those. That's a throwback for him. But but so like I had a little bit of experience with RSR. Like that's how I knew about it. And like back then, the Full Throttle Cup Series is what it was called. I don't know if we still call it that. But like
up until last year, but now we're the Sim Seats Real Sim Racing Cup Series. Yeah, but it's Full Throttle last year.
Yeah, so like it was like considered a pretty elite league, which I think it's getting back to that now. But when I joined it in 2019, it was kind of, I don't want to say dying, but it wasn't quite what it was. And it showed. The car counts were bad. The races were not the best. Jason Jacoby was in the league.
We did bring him back up.
Yeah.
Last week. He didn't really have any comments. Did you have any specific stories that you wanted to share with us about Jason Jacoby?
It's just crazy, man. I don't want to like... I got some weird messages from him when we were racing together at different points in time. I feel like everyone did. There was some major beef between him and Jonathan Cadell at the time, which was hilarious. because if you know who Jonathan Cadell is, he is ruthless, and he went in on Jacoby.
Jeremy Miller's pretty ruthless though on the track.
No, I'm not talking on the track. I'm talking on the mic. I banter on the mic. I say dumb stuff the entire race. I love it. Like, I do not take iRacing chat seriously at all. But like this season was like, so when Jacoby was in RSR, this was like actually the start of Jason Jacoby's downfall, because him and Cadell started to hate each other, right? So him and Cadell are fighting every week, which is like a big streamer against Jacoby. And then all the other stuff, which, you know, like the illegal stuff came out about Jacoby. And then the YouTube videos started coming, which I don't know if you've ever watched the YouTube videos that he was posting like about a year ago, talking about people, but they were hilarious. I wish they were still up.
I think he did name someone from the league. I want to say it was Rhett, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, him and Rhett had issues. Yep.
Yeah, so he specifically called Rhett out in one of the videos.
And he called Thomas George out, I think, too.
Oh, he did.
But, like, who can blame him for
We've
that?
done that too, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so Jacoby, like, is a weird cat. But those videos, like, they don't make sense. Like, what he's saying doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, but like, and like, he used to put on this persona of like this, like, you know, really good boy, like really good person, religious, like deep into God, like doesn't want like sin, like type of person. So what he acted like, but it was like total front was the biggest thing. Like he was like, I would say pathological liar almost. And like, if you got him to his breaking point, he showed his true colors, which Cadell did a few times, and that's where the downfall started, because he got him to break character. And then all the other stuff started coming out.
Now, 2019 was well before my time. Man, I think it was probably before you. Definitely from my racing perspective. So, what do you think? You said it was kind of dying in 2019, or kind of on the downfall a little bit. So, what do you think has brought RSR to such a high talent level and where it is right now?
I don't know. Because like I wasn't really around for a lot of last year, kind of just jumped back in the middle of the season because I like had time for it again. I lost the ability to race on Mondays.
Yeah,
obviously I have it back, but I don't really know, other than the fact that like you'd think back then it'd be bigger because we were racing on the iRacing Esports Network.
Yeah,
in 2019.
You go to iRacing.com.
I think
that's how I first initially caught an Evan broadcast for the first time.
It was a bigger deal than RaceSpot, which RaceSpot's big, don't get me wrong, but like it was bigger. So like I don't know where it's come from, other than the fact that maybe like Evans worked harder on getting drivers in, maybe. Like I
would think you watch the broadcast, Coke Series level broadcast. If you're a talented driver, you go and sign up. When I reached out last year, like I had watched a broadcast. I had sent a note to a couple leagues, and 2 leagues I ended up joining last year. One was Sim 500, the Truck Series, and then I joined the Cup Series. And honestly, Sim 500 had some openings, and when I reached out about RSR, I had zero expectations that I was going to be on anytime soon. So I, submitted the form. I think it was right before Sonoma, or no, it was right before Kansas. I think it was the week before. Mm-hmm. And I didn't hear back for a couple of days. So then I reached out to Evan. I'm like, hey, I really want to race. I'll pay an extra amount of money to skip the wait list or get something. I was like willing to cash, throw a bunch of money at Evan so I could race after watching the broadcast. He's like, oh, well, actually you can race next race because you're up. And I was like, wow. Well, how am I even here after watching the broadcast? It was kind of like, how is the field not full? Like if you're in this league, how are you not racing somewhat regularly? Right. So
I really don't understand how it got to where it got now. Like I don't like I've been around all 3 of the last 3 years. Like I don't know what's changed from 2019 to now, really. Like
the broadcasts have always been there, right? So that's kind of my theory is Evan.
The feel of the league is still the same. If anything, the league is less toxic now than it was in 2019. A lot of the what I felt was what didn't make the league fun isn't around. And that's the big thing. Like Evan was talking about it. The league has to be fun, and that is probably the biggest thing. Is the league is a lot more fun to me now than it was in 2019. So maybe that's not just me. Maybe it genuinely is just more fun now, and that's why it's gotten bigger. But like, what causes that is the question. Like, what changed?
Well, I think it's
the league
twofold. If
fun?
anyone tunes in, right, they see the broadcast, right, and that
Right.
I've been running the league, right. I think everybody who's related to iRacing in some manner, you sign up for the first time, you should know who Evan is, right? So
I mean, Evan's an absolute professional. I mean, this league is put on better than any league in the sim.
Yeah, so you watch our broadcasts, right, and you should immediately have interest. And I think maybe if you're like a lesser level driver, it took me some balls to register, right? Because I'm probably not even close to qualify for the league. I'm like, at that time, maybe like a 2,300 I rating on Oval. And, I didn't think I had any business. And then I go and I finished 12th in my first race. It seems to be something I bring up way more often than I should because it's not that great of a run. But I was super pumped about that, like looking at everyone in the league. And the league has transformed since then. And obviously it's more impact, like more stacked throughout the field, right? I was at Nashville. I fell back that first run to 34th. And while I fell back, Danson was in the 20s. I think Dave Washington was running 30th, right? And he was 3 cars ahead of me, running way in the back. And that guy's always got speed. So it's super stacked. So the people who suck and you run in last, they don't want to keep running. Cough, cough, Gary Weaver, he misses 2 races at the beginning of the year after his 3rd place finish. And you don't want to keep showing up and doing poorly, right? So that's why I left Sim 500. I hate the truck now. So I did not run poorly. I ran very poorly in the truck. I did a race in Milwaukee, was my last race there. Went green the whole way, and I finished last. And it was I didn't have any fun doing that. If you run that way every week, then why you're racing? So I think the bad guys kind of weed themselves in that way. You don't want to keep running last. And then you have, due to the quality of the broadcast and Evan as our league owner, I think that draws interest. And so then we get good guys showing up, right? And so
that is actually the one big change because you just made the point. Evan is sole leader.
So that didn't happen until 2 years ago, I think.
Right. Because there was Brian Macklin around adminning.
Because so Brian is Sim 500 now, if I correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Sim 500 actually, I know a little bit of the history here. Sim 500 is basically what RSR kind of broke off, and a bunch of guys
went Sim 500 league now.
Right. So a bunch of guys went and started Sim 500, from RSR. I don't know the pure drama behind it, but that gets back to the iRacing toxicity stuff I was talking about. That's a good example of it. Is there was some sort of pity fight over leagues. I don't know how much Evan wants us to talk about because I guess it could hurt the reputation a little, but I don't know the details.
Since then is the important part, right, with our league.
Right.
So,
once Macklin got out, and I like Brian Macklin, he's a good guy, but I noticed a change in demeanor in the league. And it became more fun because Macklin rubbed people's shoulders the wrong way with I don't want to say he was biased, but that's almost the best word I can use is people who'd been around more, he treated differently than newer people. And the guys that were better got better treatment than the guys who weren't so good, as if those people really didn't matter. And Evan doesn't do that. Evan it's a pure democracy with the league now.
We talked about that last week,
I felt like it was maybe a little dictatorship in 2019. And so I think that's the change. That's the change.
Yeah.
Is that Evan runs the league in a very, very effective way that keeps it fun. And he talked about that. That's the entire point. And he does a great job at that of making it fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think for your team, are you the owner of your team? And then you mentioned you have.
So we don't really have an owner, honestly.
Okay.
We're just we're not a team. We don't run open stuff. We're just a group of guys. So Harambe Racing goes back to Forza before we even were on iRacing. It's me, Connor Horn, a guy named Skylar Shackelford, Zachary Carr, at one point Caden Rush, which is a guy that's pretty big on the sim. And then we met Brian. Brian ended up running with us in R-Star. We got Jaron this year. My friend Zach's on the wait list right now to get in the league. He'll be running up front if he gets in. He's pretty good.
Great, more people to go.
More people to finish behind. Fantastic.
He's quite a bit better than me. So yeah, he's a pretty good driver. I want Connor to come back, but it's not going to happen, especially with Road to Pro being the focus. But I understand that. It's not like I'm not going to push. I'd rather him focus on Road to Pro because the better he does, the better I do because I spot for him. So like the higher he climbs, the higher I can climb as a spotter. And I have more fun spotting than I do driving.
You did say you enjoyed talking a lot on the radio, and that's a perfect role for a spotter.
Yeah. I mean, you're in the races. You guys hear it. Half of the jokes are awful, but like the entire race, I make jokes. After you said the mic check thing, like I typed out, "Can I get a mic check?" But MIKE, because I was hoping for Lariah to say something like "I'm here," but he didn't.
That's a good dad joke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I have fun on the radio.
I've got a dad shirt here. Ann gave this to me. I keep all my dad jokes in a database. Oh my God. That's such a dad.
That's very cringe. That's very.
My wife gave me that shirt for Father's Day. Yeah.
I'm a really big Giants fan, and they posted a video for Father's Day. They had Eli Manning and an old center, Sean O'Hara, do dad jokes, and there was two really good ones. One was what's Tom Brady's favorite wine, and then Eli said, "I can't beat the Giants," and then the other was Peyton Manning once told his receivers a joke. It went over their heads, which was hilarious.
Also a dad joke.
Yeah.
Also a dad joke. Yeah. That's
those
write those down and use them on the next week.
Mm-hmm.
We're at Polka Dot.
Yep.
Or use them when
I know you guys were talking about NHL last week. I'm a really big Devils fan. I had season tickets to the Devils.
Oh wow!
For a year there, the 1 year they made the playoffs in the last decade, so that was cool because they've been awful the rest of it.
So do you live? You must live close to New York. Is that right?
I technically live in the Philly area. I live like an hour from New York, 30 minutes from Philly.
You're like the third person, at least, that I'm aware that lives in that area because we know.
I live over there. Dylan. I actually ran into Dylan at Dover. Right in front of
I could have had that picture queued up. Yeah. You got to tell us about that because Dylan. Dylan came on the show and he said he was going to be at Dover, and I think he said something, and I don't think anybody told him that anyone was going to be at Dover. So obviously,
I had no clue he was going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he lived in the area, but I didn't know he was going to be there. But like I said, it wasn't a surprise that he was going to be. Like, if I was told Dylan's going to be at the race, I'd be like, yeah, it doesn't shock me.
Well, you just didn't listen to our podcast, hasn't that?
Right. I did not listen to the Dylan Coyle episode now. But I should because Dylan's hilarious. But so he walks up the grandstands and I see an RSR shirt before I see the face. I'm like, oh, what? RSR? And I saw the face and I yelled, is that Dylan Coyle? And he saw me and he knew who I was too. Yeah. It was, and his seat was literally the one directly in front of mine.
Wow. No, wow. So you guys are meant to be that's crazy. I mean, there's how many seats there?
So between running into Ricky the night before and then running into Dylan there, I don't know which one was more of a star-studded moment. I mean, it's probably
you got to hang out with Dylan for the whole race then.
Right. That was probably a little more star-studded than Ricky Stenhouse. I mean, who cares about Ricky Stenhouse? Dylan Coyle?
Yeah, seriously. I don't know how you got a word. I don't know how you said a word to him, and I don't know how you even asked him for a picture. I mean, I'm sure he was just.
He asked for the picture actually.
Wow! Wow! Well, Daytona.
Yeah, I felt what an honor.
Yeah, you need a picture with the Daytona winner.
That was cool. That was cool though. Dylan's a really cool guy. I like Dylan. So.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was Ross was at Nashville. His picture looked like he wasn't that far away from me.
Chambliss was at Nashville.
Chambliss was. It was because the traffic was so bad that was never going to happen. But I'm going to enough races the rest of the year.
Oh man, I can't believe Brian won that race.
Oh, I know.
But he deserved it because he should have won Vegas last year. But Gary Sexton happened. You weren't around for that, but Matt was.
Yeah, Nick
Oh, you were? Nick. Okay. Yeah, Gary Sexton. We're not over that yet. Honestly, as a team, that was ridiculous. And I think I made a Facebook post about it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few times people have agreed with something I said. So that was bad. And it ruined the race. It wasn't that he just ruined one person's race. He ruined the entire race doing that.
What did you think? Were you already out at that point?
I think I was probably junked. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't really trying. Like it was playoffs. I ran 9 races that season. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So I guess you don't need to put the full effort in. So.
I ran 9 races, but I dominated one of them. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did the super speedways, right? You probably did.
No, it was Michigan. I led half the race at Michigan, and I had it won. Like it's not like a would I have won. It was I was going to win, and then they wrecked for last. And I went over to radio and I said, "Thanks for wrecking for last. I hate you guys." That's word for word what I said.
Well, you must have done the super speedways as well. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I actually got in a pissing match with Sam Nieto at Daytona. We were both damaged. I was slightly faster than him, but I couldn't get around him on the outside. So I was getting so pissed because I was fast enough to keep the draft, but he wasn't. But I wasn't fast enough to pass him on the outside. I had to get under him. So I ended up trying to get under him on the straightaway. My nose was kind of there, but not really. But I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm not lifting. And we wrecked each other like a second behind the pack. I don't know if he's still watching, but yeah, me and Sam had quite a moment there. Not my proudest moment, if I'm being honest. Like,
Is that water under the bridge now?
That's what he said. So, if he's telling the truth, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't mad at him more so than I was mad at him on the track for not letting me go. But like the wreck was me being an idiot. You know, I was.
It happened.
I dumped him. I dumped him. Like,
on purpose.
No, he didn't. I mean, you're trying to get there, yeah, and you're frustrated, right? Kind of like the.
I wasn't like I didn't hook him. But like me trying, I tried to like move him out of the way basically, and I wrecked us. So
yeah. Well, don't do that. Don't do that in the front of the field with all of us behind you next time.
I have my fair share of wrecking the entire field of plate tracks. I haven't done it in RSR, but there's some other leagues where people aren't so happy with me for big wrecks at plate tracks.
So that's why you're not anymore.
I feel like you've said a couple times that people are generally unhappy with you. So when they reached out to you, do you just like block them or?
No, I troll, to be honest, because I don't take the sim that serious, right? So like I'm like I get you're a little upset, but like why are you that mad? Like over the sim. So ORL is the league that Brian Chambliss owns at Saturdays that I ran in, and we had a fun race there once at Talladega for like a little bit of cash, nothing much. And I don't know if you know who Steven Turner is, but I ended up wrecking one of his teammates that race because his teammate doesn't know how to throw a block properly at a plate track, and I don't lift for blocks when you don't know what you're doing. I'll wreck you. Like it. And so then I was like kind of messing with him, like I was egging him on, and I went in the voice chat with him after because like they told me to get in there, like because they wanted to yell at me, so I did, you know, and like I just kind of like I trolled to make them more angry. And then Steven Turner, he streams actually. He like flipped shit and he like legitimately threatened to kill me over iRacing.
Wow.
Which how do you take iRacing that seriously? Is what I don't get.
Is that the reaction I should have had after you wrecked me twice in 3 laps at Phoenix?
Probably. I felt so bad. Oh my God.
I literally forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too.
Now.
The second one was awful. It was so bad.
I made plenty of mistakes.
Where was that?
Phoenix.
At Phoenix.
I had the worst race of my life. It was bad.
Until yesterday, same, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said you had yesterday was, but
like in terms of wrecking my car, Phoenix, like I self-spun, I junked Matt twice, and then Steven Soa finished me off. It was just not.
I wrecked Steven Soa actually, so yeah, I apologized to him. I remember afterwards, so I guess I paid him back for you. We just didn't know it. No, I arca braked right into him.
It's hard to stay off the back bumper of a Marra. I mean, you guys are just so slow. I mean, it's so easy.
No, I get it. You're right. You're right. No,
Well, so the time I was passing you the first time at Phoenix, I was passing. I was in position to pass you.
Well, so like I that's where I self-spun, right? I self-spun, right?
We were going 3 wide. Yeah, I think it might have been in the tri-oval. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I spun. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, you obviously didn't mean to do anything.
I gassed up.
The wreck on the restart was really bad, but again, obviously didn't mean anything.
It is my fault for not checking up.
Yeah.
So also Dylan Coyle's fault for not going. Yeah. Like I don't know what Dylan was doing, Like I went back and watched it. It's my fault. I should have been aware, but like we're that far in the back, I'm not expecting.
You're right. Yeah,
like,
yeah. We're already damaged, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to coast here. So you probably saved me a lot of pain in running many
and like
laps.
I wasn't that damaged at that point, so I was trying to go make up spots.
Yeah.
And Dylan didn't hit the gas in front of you, like at all. I mean, he was like almost half a second behind the pack.
I mean, he probably did something like I did. I've done twice in the league now, and over a year now is where I've accidentally started a restart in fourth gear. So maybe something like that happened. But yeah, now I do recall correctly.
I mean, I've done that in the past. Like, I mean, that's one of those mistakes, though. Like, you don't make it again. You know.
I've done it twice, so I guess I did.
Yeah, he does make it again. He does also remind himself and myself not to start in.
Yeah, so literally every single restart on the radio, I for the beginning of the race and for restarts. For the beginning of the race, I'll do a little, hey, we're getting ready. Like, let's have some fun, set expectations, just, long race, right? Start in second. Every restart, make sure you're in second. Every time I can remember it anyways, right? Because I made so many mistakes. And of course, like the time I don't call out, what?
You know that little nameplate in the car now where it has your name inside your car and your number? You run a custom number paint, right?
No, I don't. No.
So if you ran a custom number paint, instead of your number being there, it's just blank, you could put like run second gear on restarts there.
That'd be pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a problem since I think one of the duels earlier this year. So fingers crossed.
Oh my god, I remember that. Yeah, the other time was at Daytona as well.
Yeah, it was.
That's the worst place to do it.
Yep. Yeah,
that is the worst place
races.
But it's easiest to do it because it's a track that like pacing becomes so tedious, you kind of forget what you're doing. Like,
well, I think what happened was, if I recall correctly, so I think Daytona was preceded by a road course. It might have been Daytona Road. I don't remember what the schedule looked like last year, but it was a road course. So I had
year?
What's that?
It was last year. Okay.
Yeah, last year, the Daytona for the cutoff. And I had left the sequential shifter on. So when I went at Daytona, it was the last restart. I was ninth place with like 10 to go. And I go and I'm pressing the paddle shifters because I had a mind fart and nothing was happening, right? Obviously. And then the whole field checked up behind me and wrecked. I felt like an idiot. So that's my one takeaway is, just stop using the sequential shifter.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't have that, but I don't think I would like it, honestly. So I like the paddles. They're just much easier. So.
Well, next gen's going to a sequential gearbox now. So
yes. I was really concerned after the All-Star race. That's going to take a new driver skill. I feel like that shifting into fifth is going to be, or fourth is going to be more of it's going to be more play into people's hands, and they're going to be doing it more than I think that we thought they might.
Shifting from downshifting in the turns, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that might be the case at a lot more tracks than we think right now, or not a lot, but it's going to happen more.
It depends on the gearing.
That's true.
Like, I don't think you're going to be downshifting a mile and a half.
Do you think they'll be stuck in fourth though, or fifth? I wonder.
I think it'll be in fifth.
Well, you got to remember too, the setup that we had with that gear ratio was from a Tony setup shop, right? That was custom setup. Honestly, I didn't see a big difference from third to fifth in kind of the revs coming off the turn. So I didn't shift.
The gearing wasn't the best.
Yeah. So I think you could have almost gotten the full speed even in third gear. Going into three, you definitely would have hit the rev limiter in fourth even. So I just stayed in fifth, but yeah, good call out, Sam. So good to know we're not crazy. Sam,
no, definitely, he's wrong. He's wrong though.
What did he say? I can't see the chat.
He said if you were shifting at Motegi, you were doing it wrong, but he's wrong because if you were in the back in the draft, you had to go to fifth gear, you'd rev out, and people would pass you.
I know. I got scared at the beginning. I made my first mistake, because I could hear the guy behind me. A couple guys behind me shifting into fifth gear.
Yeah.
They were pulling up on me at the end of the straightaway and then I did it a couple laps and
okay.
What?
Sam is saying fifth gear the entire
I mean, that's what I did too. I kind of learned when I was running by myself anyways. And I think if anything, the draft played a big factor, right? Especially in those long straightaways. I think that was probably more so what it was.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I practiced the whole time in fourth gear because I thought maybe I was getting off the turn earlier. I was hitting the rev limiter like right before my breaking point going into three. And the car drove different in fourth, but I didn't really feel a performance change like getting off the turn. And then I went into the race and I used fifth gear the whole time because in fourth gear on a longer run, the car got really hot. So I was like, I'm not going to chance it in the race. And then the car drives differently. I basically like didn't do any prep fifth gear. And I was like, shit. And I ran really poorly in the open. So
interesting.
I was using fourth gear around the entire track and fifth gear down the backstretch. And I mean, I drove second in the All-Star race. So, like, obviously that was working.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and Sam was not good in the All-Star race. So
he won the Open by a mile.
Yeah, but in the All-Star race, though. I think Sam had some issues, actually. So maybe
Sam's not good in general, so.
We're just trying to poke him in the chat.
Yeah. I can't even see the chat.
So I mean, see, that's the stuff I say over the radio during the race.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. So, Matt, I think we had the raffle, did we not?
Oh yeah, you're right. I should probably get to that. Yeah, we had a couple other pieces here. So let me let me get to the raffle.
Sam makes a good point. He got dumped on lap one. I remember that now because I got damage in it.
Oh yeah. So sorry to everyone. I don't think people were staying for the raffle, but if you were, we made you stay for almost the whole episode here, an hour and 45 minutes in. So if you're still with us, I should give like an extra bonus for someone if they're actually listening and commenting.
Yeah, Sam, we need to give you need to give something to Sam.
Yeah, Sam should just win this, right? So let me.
What is Sam doing that he keeps us up the entire time?
He listens to us because it's a good time.
But does he have it on in the background though, or is he like that's what I
mean, it's a podcast. I expect you to listen in the background. Maybe when we show some highlights and stuff. When we show this this screen here, maybe he'll see if he wins the raffle.
I'm more curious if Trey's going to end up in my DMs after this week. This might be a first for me. So,
okay, well let's do the raffle here. So we got a couple things here.
What's the raffle win, and how did we get it?
So the raffle wins a $15 iRacing gift card. If we have listeners who don't play iRacing, just do a $15 Amazon gift card or something. And you're eligible if you follow us on Twitter or on Twitch. If you follow us on both, you've got two names up here as an opportunity to win.
No.
So I think we got about 60 people in here. Nick, no, sorry, you're part of the show. So giving a giveaway. How silly would that look if we did this raffle and you won as the host of the show?
Well, about time Marra Motorsports wins something. So
I kind of hope I don't win because then it'll look rigged.
Yeah, exactly. I'm completely okay if that's what people think.
Okay, well, let's go. I'm going to click the spin.
Okay. It looks really low budget and crappy.
That looks better on the stream.
The Rocket Mortgage ad.
Subpar Racing. So I think that account is
Subpar Racing.
I think it's owned by Sean Casto, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
So we'll reach out. Awesome. We have a winner. So I'll reach out to that's a Twitter account. So I'll reach out and
hey, Sean. See, we didn't rig it. They all say Marra Motorsports, but just in different fonts writing. Good job.
Oh yeah.
It should all say Matt Danson.
Oh, it's Trevin. My bad. Yeah. So okay, Trevin. Hopefully he's listening.
Oh, respin it.
Respin.
He'll never know. Respin it.
We can take that comment about winning something and I guess apply it to Trevin as well.
True.
We're happy for him. Awesome.
You mentioned that you were battling for last, and Trevin was actually last. He was like
yeah. So Trevin and Rhett were behind us, so we were battling for 33rd, Tom and I. But there were two cars that were further back. Yeah, so that must have some other issues.
So yay, Trevin.
Yay. So speaking of winning, I have another piece here if I can find it. Mm-hmm. Where did it go?
With Danson not on this one, this is very foreign to us all. Winning.
Oh, I have a win. I have two.
Not you. Yeah, sorry. I meant the. Sorry, you're right. You're a winner.
I mean, they're plate tracks, so they don't really count to most people, but they count to me.
That's okay. Hey, mine was a non-points race, so they don't count it. It's like it never happened.
If anybody ever wants to trigger me, my biggest trigger is saying sim race or plate racing doesn't take talent, because it absolutely does. And when you say it doesn't, it kills me inside because I feel like I'm so good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Nick has brought it up plenty of times. I think we should rewatch the end of the Clash here, but with a little bit of twist in the what if should have happened end of race call. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for us.
Oh man, my paint scheme is so ugly compared to one I'm running now.
Sometimes you know what they're thinking, and maybe they're on the same wavelength. But someone that isn't on Matthew Marra's same wavelength as Sean Kalis, who continues to just be a nuisance right now. He can't get down and connect with the 32, so that and the 43 is putting himself in really a good spot because now the Marras can't get hooked up together unless Nick Marra wants to place that inside.
That's you, Jeremy.
Kalis is in prime position to overtake that 32 on corner exit.
He's in a very good position. He actually moves up into the number 2 position, clear of Matthew Marra on the outside of the racetrack. And now he has an option. Does he go to the outside line behind the 32 and try to make that classic super speedway?
I couldn't do anything here to help Matt.
Rabel enters the conversation now. He's nearly clear for third. White flag.
I'm shaking. Jeremy, you made a hell of a move in here.
Nicholas Marra, trailed by Sean Kalis, trailed by Chris Rabel. Here comes Miller up to the inside.
I screwed it though.
Down underneath as they race off a turn.
I'm just like, I want to get on the podium here.
There's a problem though. It's Brian just lap car is going to get in the way here.
Did you do this editing work, Matt?
Line.
No, not me.
Make a move.
Still no move.
I hope we go back here for the Clash next year. It was actually fun.
Yeah.
Kalis has struggled so far tonight to get to the bumper of the 32, but they got a big run out of turn 4, looking for the checkered flag. Kalis looks low. The fight's going to be behind, and Nicholas Marra, the RSR Cup Series Clash winner in 2021. Look at the celebration.
Oh, I love that.
In real racing.
Okay. Jeremy, I don't know if you know. Do you know, like, Matt got Evan to do this call. That's what he did.
That's a team-win celebration right there.
Yeah.
Evan did not do this call. Matt had him redo it.
Yeah. So
really?
It's one thing that that Nick has talked about a lot. He won, but he didn't get the Evan call. Evan wasn't doing the race. So I did reach out to Evan. We were going to try to do it last week for you, Nick. But Evan was very grateful and willing to do a little voiceover. He did all the editing. I was kind of surprised. I thought he was just going to give me a voiceover. He left Jonathan's audio on there, which I thought was really cool. I was not expecting that. So thank you, Evan, for that. I enjoyed that. I like awesome. Just played the first piece for it. But Nick's always like, oh, I didn't get my Evan call. I somehow won, but I didn't get my Evan call. So there you go. You got it.
That's really cool. I'm really happy. I can't believe that. When did you guys do that? When did he do that?
He sent it to me a few hours ago. So it's something he'd been trying to work on. We were going to try to do it for the episode last week. And, obviously he had all those internet and computer issues last week. So he was unable to get to it. But
that is so cool. I don't have to reach out. That's awesome.
He's a really busy guy too.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel bad that he put in all that time. And it sounded incredible, by the way. He did it awesome. That was
I didn't even know that wasn't the broadcast. I thought that was just
No, I know, yeah. So he literally went in and he did I was gonna say
I never watched that race back because I was so mad at myself because like I lost to the Marras at a plate track.
Exactly. Oh man, that is really awesome. That is incredible. That's
awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that. I'm kind of speechless. So that was really, really nice.
You speechless. Wow. So you did something right, Evan. Thank you for doing that for us.
I got that, but Danson still can't get his trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we may have gotten it by now. Maybe he's just so pissed he hasn't gotten it yet. That's why we got.
Yeah, that's still in transit. I did talk to Tom over the weekend. He said he sent it 3 weeks ago, and it's still in transit. It's on the way. They don't have it in hand, so it's just how long is shipping going to take at this point.
You guys got to talk about that streamer house with him. The Logitech.
Yes, that's really cool. So that his team announced that they basically his team bought a house for their drivers. I think 3 drivers are staying there. We asked Anton if he's going to go live there now, and he said he's too old. So I don't think if you're not married and you don't have kids, I don't think you're too old to do that. That seems freaking awesome. But he's going to visit there. He lives 20 minutes from the house, so he'll be going there frequently.
Where is it? Like where in Australia?
I barely know Australia, so I couldn't tell you. So these are questions for Dan, so we'll ask him next week.
Yeah. He lives right off one of the turns for the Adelaide F1 track.
Really?
So, yeah. So like 20 minutes. I don't think we talked about that on air, but yeah. So he's like right there. So he's like 20 minutes from Adelaide for that racetrack. So that's got to be where that's got to be where the house is at some point. So yeah, that is that what it is? Is it just a gamer house?
Yeah.
Where people go in and play games. Are there pictures of it? I gotta see this.
They had a video announcement. I think it's like 4 minutes long. We'll reach out to Danson to get the link if we don't already have it. But I think if you follow Altus Esports, which you should, on Twitter, it's all there. And they did. It's very empty right now, so they're working on getting stuff in there. But we should definitely have Danson go over there maybe for one of the episodes and give us like an MTV Cribs, like the house once it all gets, because it looks like it was just bought, right? So there's not a lot of stuff in there. But when that house gets built up, absolutely, that's next level everything. Really, really cool stuff.
Awesome. That does sound like a lot of fun. Was there anything else we wanted to? Well, I guess we should talk maybe a little bit about Pocono for a wrap up. Jeremy, you're going there in person, so you'll have an in-person view of what we're going to see virtually on Monday night. I saw just the very end of the Coke race this evening, and it kind of looked like a little bit of a train wreck. So what are the expectations? I've never run a lap there, so I have no idea what to expect, Jeremy.
I hate Pocono.
I guess we'll see you behind the Marras.
I'm not.
Jeremy hating Pocono probably means he's running slightly ahead of us.
I don't like Pocono. I'm not very good there, but I can get speed. But they updated the aero package on the Cup car recently, so it's going to be kind of a pack race now. So I might be better because I'm very good at drafting. But Pocono is so I can't figure out road courses because I struggle to remember the corners. And see, I'm not smart enough to remember 3 different lines or 3 different corner types like Pocono. So that's my big issue there. But I love driving Pocono. Pocono is such a fun track to drive, and I want to drive there in real life really badly. They do the racing experience there. I really want to do it. I feel like that's one of the best tracks probably to do it too, because such long straightaways, you'll probably hit higher speeds than you do at most places. So I really want to do that there. I went to Pocono a few times in real life. It's an awesome place to watch a race. You wouldn't think you can see the whole track, but you can when you sit high up. It's on the sim. The only experience I have there in RSR, I was telling Matt about this before the race. The server cut out midway through the race, and we called the race as if rain came, basically.
Really?
My racing servers went down, and Andrew was leading, of course.
You don't even get a fun winner. Chris Buescher.
Yeah. So, but the craziest thing is, I was talking to Brian, my teammates Connor and Skylar at the time. I had damage, and I thought if I had track position, I might be able to keep it because my issue was the very end of the straightaway. But I figured if I was in front of people, I could maybe maintain track position.
Yeah.
And we had a pretty short run. This was before tire limits, so you could take tires every stop. Yeah. So it was like a 5-lap run. So everybody was pitting. I was like, I really think I might stay out here to see what I can do with track position. And at the last second, I was staying out, but every single car pit. So I was like, I got to pit. So I turned down. If I stayed out, I would have won that race. Because the server died under that yellow.
Oh, my God. That's what we got to hope. We just got to pray for a server to go down.
Yeah, that's our chance. Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of Pocono, I don't know if you guys have looked into Discord, but people are asking for us to run more laps there when we're planning. Yeah. Because we do 50% races. But Pocono's races are shorter because of the double header, so it's really short for us on the sim. I haven't said anything, but I'm team more laps. If I don't know if we're going to change it, probably not. But if it was a possibility, I'd vote more laps. Not a lot, maybe 10, 15 more. I don't want to run 90 like Coke did. I feel like that'd be a little bit too many.
Yeah. What is it? 20 laps? I mean, 60 laps.
Coke generally runs more laps.
65.
Right?
Okay. Right. Well, Coke runs half. So we're running 65. Half. Yeah. So 90 would be 25 more. That's a good bit. But I wouldn't be opposed to running 75, 80. Yeah. But 65 is not short. The reason 65 laps is short is because you get 3 cautions. It's a 40-lap race now, basically.
Well, you get but at the same time, you get 3 cautions. You spend that much time under yellow. You've added 30 minutes,
and that track's
right?
Agonizing.
Yeah, so I
Right.
mean, it's if we want to run more laps, I totally understand that, but everybody needs to be a little
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't realize we
more
were running
decent.
65. The way people were complaining, I thought we were running more like 50.
50.
You know.
Yeah. I think. Well, I know running last year, I had not expected Pocono to be a wreck fest, but it totally was. It was really bad. So you know
One of
how?
the worst tracks with this package. Like every spot
Yeah,
matters, so people like drive way too hard.
yeah.
You guys ran 84 laps there last year.
Yeah, so you know how everybody complains and like throws massive fits after wreck-filled races. Like this was one of them, right? So there's a lot of ruckus after Pocono last year that we need to figure our shit out, right? So the field is way more competitive now. So I feel like it's just going to create more cautions. I would be happy to be wrong. I think there are, even at Nashville this week, there were a lot of people who made last second dive bomb moves, and maybe it's tech, whatever, right? But like late enough moves to, I know when I was driving, I'm entering the corner and that's like, oh shit, somebody's dive bombing, I'll just let them go, right? So a lot of that, you do that at Pocono, like we're gonna have a lot of accidents, right? So I think a lot of the behavior I saw mid pack at Nashville, if it's not changed, there's gonna be a lot of accidents this week. So that's going to be really painful to even do a 65 lap race in if we're going to have a lot of cautions.
Pocono's a fun track to drive though. Like it's an agonizing track to race because the straightaways are so long. So if you slip up in the corner,
oh yeah, like
you're
if you get
suffering.
You're like losing like 5 spots. Yeah.
And the thing is, and it takes a whole lap to really get it wound back up, depending on where you messed up. Like if you mess up in the tunnel turn, oh my god. Because like you have to carry so much momentum through that corner to run a good lap.
That's a real life aspect too. Like the cars in general are very momentum based, right? And I don't know if it was a recent update or not, but I felt it really badly at Nashville. Like let a guy go, or make a last second move to let someone underneath. And you even trying to just like, okay, get in a position to get a good run off. Like if you lose a little bit of momentum, it just felt like it took at least another set of turns to get that momentum back.
Maybe I will practice this week.
Yeah.
I'll put 1,000 laps in and run 5th. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
It's okay. Hey, that's not bad.
That's where I ran without putting 1,000 laps in, so I hope I do better.
0 laps in and run.
That's a general life question though. When you put in the effort, you run 1,000 laps and you get taken out on one of these inevitable restart cautions. You're like, why did I put 1,000 laps in?
And then you put no effort in.
You put no effort in, and I finished 5th, right?
And I put no effort in. I take 2 tires on a whim, thinking it's not going to work, and then I finish 5th. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get some practice in this week. I think I'll get some real simple. I don't know if it'll be a lot, but
I want to start running NIS, so I think that'll be a good step, like to consider practice, like running 1 NIS a week, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Nick, did you say you were gonna get some real sim racing practice in this week?
Yeah, exactly. Pun intended. Yep. Well,
brutal.
Jeremy, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I guess before we have you thank your sponsors, we do need to do the schedule, right?
We should look at that. Yeah.
Before we do, we'll take a look at the schedule. We've got some exciting shows coming up. We got Steve next week. That'll be really good. I know he's gonna have a lot to talk about, I'm sure. So, and you can see all the guests there. So, excited for that, but really excited having you on, Jeremy. Again, I know you made some last minute changes to come join us today. We're really glad you did. So, who do you want to thank? Sponsors, team, us, all of that.
Really don't have sponsors. My car racing designs is what I'm running right now. Zachary Carr is trying to get in the league. I guess that's like kind of the sponsor deal. He paints the car, I run his logo. So thank you for that. I really like the car I got right now. I got going chrome numbers on it. I've got kind of like a translucent like rainbow fade across the sides, and like same thing with the roof number.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
I like the purple too, very much.
Yeah, that's my color for whatever reason. I love it in racing, and now Bowman runs it in real life, so like it's perfect. Yeah, I've been running purple since like 2018 on the sim. Like it's just kind of stuck as my color for my cars. But Connor Horn doesn't race in RSR, but not even just the aspect that he like lets me work with him for his like pro efforts and stuff. But like, I learned so much from him. Like that's the thing is like I'm not a very good driver and I don't practice a lot, but like watching him race and him talking to me about racing, it helps. It really does. Like he's not the best at conveying information if I'm being honest, but like it helps. Brian and Jaron, HBR, running with me. We're happy to have Jaron this year. He's been fun to work with. Gave us somebody who's good at road courses, so that's cool. It's kind of it. Evan for putting the league on. I mean, it doesn't get said enough in my opinion because it is the best run league on the sim, and I truly believe that. And that's all him. I mean, he's literally the only person running it.
Yeah.
He does a great job. And I mean, you guys. I mean, this podcast, it's like, it's been great for the league. It's so cool. Like, I never would in a million years thought about like a podcast about a little iRacing league, but like it's added something. It really has. Like
Thank you.
It's added an entire new aspect of the league, and like it was such a like out there idea that sounded like it wouldn't work. And like I posted it in Discord, like it is shocking how good it is.
Oh my gosh!
I posted
Thank
that
you.
in Discord
Appreciate
multiple
it,
times. Like it is like you guys do a very good job, and anybody in the league who isn't watching is an idiot. If they have the time to watch them,
Yeah, that should be our slogan. That should be our.
Well, it's like so like how you have your quotes on your iRacing accounts.
Yeah.
Yes.
My quote, let me pull it up. I don't want to butcher it. It's awesome, and this is purely I coined this, and I love it. Oh, it's not on here. I took it off. Well, Connor Horn still has it on his. It's you can't protest stupid. It's forever.
There's some guys that definitely applies to. I'll tell you, really on the official, but no,
there's some people who probably think it's us next. So
yeah, well, they definitely did after yesterday. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I know Trey thinks that, and William probably thinks that too.
Trey. So Trey turned himself across my nose twice. He butchered the pit road entrance, ended up like driving through the grass basically, and I was under him, and his box was before mine. But like the reason I'm on your inside is because like I was a second behind you when I got to your inside entering pit road. Yeah. That's your fault. You can't just turn across my nose, hit the brakes, and turn into your box behind me. Like I did. And then we get on the track, and he wrecks himself.
I did not, except I went straight through the grass. So, but we don't.
Pit road.
I just kept going. It was a real disaster. No, I did, but Jeremy, yes, thank you for sucking up to us. It has worked, and you can come back on the show whenever you'd like. We obviously, we really enjoyed having you. And then Matt, who do we need to thank? Who do we need?
Obviously our sponsors, so Gammadale Technologies and Mercury Energy, who sponsor my car, and McConey Setup Shop, who sponsors your car, Nick. Thanks for the support. Jeff, saw Jeff on the I think the pro broadcast last week. So really cool to see him in person. He's pretty talented at what he does. Really cool to have McConey Setup Shop represented, on our Marra Motorsports cars. And then obviously thanks to everyone who's supported us. We have a full schedule, continue to have a full schedule. We talk about what we've done so far. And, we start 10 episodes now. So a milestone of sorts to be at episode 10. This I think 10 weeks ago the idea was, hey, let's do a podcast, let's talk about it. Maybe we have a different perspective. Maybe people will listen, but I don't anticipate much. I know as of through 9 episodes, I think we have over all of our streaming platforms over 1,200 views, which I mean certainly way more than we had expected. So thanks to everyone who's listened. Certainly. It gives us a reason to keep going. Thanks to all of our guests. This is 9 weeks in a row we've had a guest with us. And I think we have, 7 of the next 9 weeks we have guests lined up as well. And all of that has been people wanting to join us, and certainly appreciate that people want to talk to us. So absolutely love that. I think, and then, I'll thank Danson, even though he's not here. I was going to say, 8 straight episodes, and then he didn't show up tonight for reasons, right? But Danson for jumping on for 7 of the 10 episodes. So thanks Danson for being a part of this. So yeah.
Is he gonna ask for like a contract now? Like, are we gonna have to extend his contract? I feel like he's gonna be very much a diva about it.
I hope he's not holding out. Yeah.
he used the same excuse tonight as he used for the race. He's blaming the triple monitors for everything. I mean, I did forget to thank. I did forget one thanks. I wanted to thank my family who watch every week.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
I have my family in Florida. They watch every week. I don't know. I just feel like it's cool that they support sim racing and watch. Like, it kind of legitimizes it a little bit to an aspect, like that there's people out there that watch us that like aren't even NASCAR fans in their case, and like
we've had the same. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I think I need to thank Evan as well.
Evan, of course.
I need to send him. I need to send him a message after this.
I need to kiss his ass so he doesn't penalize me for Trey Browning dumping himself. So
yeah, we haven't gotten to that. So what I'm really gonna say is thanks for the video. Please don't. Please don't give me 2 claims.
Just penalize Trey Browning for 2 unclaimed cautions. Give him all those penalty points, and we'll be fine.
That's 6. That's 6. So he'd be suspended next week.
And he's already like way up there. I think. Let me look. He's currently going into this race. He had 5 penalty points.
Okay, so Nick, yeah. So Nick, I think the Nick deal. Nick, I think that deal is going to be I think it's going to be ruled a racing incident, but we'll see. If it is, then you knocked him out of next week, literally, with that move.
In our defense, Evan, common denominator, he has 5 penalty points. It's pretty clear.
I think mine was too much of a racing incident.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
I mean, I didn't even touch him in mine, so like I think
that's okay. I'm gonna message him anyway and just send positive vibes. No, but I do need it. That was a really cool video. I really appreciated that. Yeah. So I can't. I'm sure you'll send it to me later, Matt.
Of course,
yes. Go down on my phone. So I guess So next week, that does it for today. Looking forward to next week when we have Steve on for a post-Pocono edition. Good luck, Jeremy, next week.
Thank you.
Good luck to Marra Motorsports. We need it. And we'll talk about it next week.
I hope you guys beat Danson so much.
I doubt it'll happen because it's like a road course, but fingers crossed.
You guys need a 3rd driver.
Yeah, we do need a 3rd driver. And
who isn't on a team?
So we talked about this last week. So I think there are some people who aren't associated in RSR.
Then Andrew.
I know Andrew and Cody Harris are not, and Cody Harris has an empty car too. So there's hope there, but at the same time, I can't help but I'm conflicted in the sense that we are Marra Motorsports. We have 2 Marras here. I feel like that 3rd spot is reserved for a Marra at some point.
You know what you got to do, man?
We do have another brother. That is.
You can also just search the name Marra on iRacing. Find all the people with that name on iRacing. Message every single one of them. Ask them to join RSR and join your team.
Yep.
Everyone think we're related. Yeah.
Exactly. Get somebody on there. But anyway, with that, talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us, Jeremy, and have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.